Hello, fellow homebrewers. JP here, and I want to introduce to you the brand new Brewbuilt X1 Conical Series available at More Beer. More Beer sells the highest standard in homebrewing equipment, and the Brewbuilt Conicals are just that. They're made from mirror-polished 304 stainless steel, and they come with loads of features that you and I have been looking for. They have a full 2-inch bottom dump valve, which will eliminate your clogging issues, while the sturdy base includes 4 reinforced legs, just like those big Pro tanks do. More Beer also carries the Brewbuilt line of options and add-ons like casters, pressure kits, and even external glycol chillers. So you can find out more about the new Brewbuilt X1 Conical Unitanks by going over to morebeer.com for detailed videos on the entire line of Brewbuilt Conicals. You can trust Brewbuilt with your next fermentation, and you can trust More Beer to find the right conical for you. Brewbuilt at morebeer.com.
Today's Sunday session is brought to you thanks to the fine folks at More Beer. Visit them right now at morebeer.com.
Great beer is about drinkability. Doesn't matter the style.
You guys are like walking beer Wikipedia. That's the first time that you've ever accepted me as a person.
Or you have a fermentation in your gut.
I'm jet propelled at all times.
How many guys do you think that you have the privilege to slap?
Somebody who's never tasted a commercial example, and this is how you know everything about this beer? Please, you don't.
I think that's bullshit.
I think it's bullshit, too.
Wow. Are you guys going to arm wrestle?
No.
We're
going to teabag fight.
Yeah. You heard of Junkyard Wars?
Can I get another high five, Beavis?
Now, live from the Brewing Network studios in Northern California, this is the radio program for home brewers, craft brewers, beer lovers, and beer geeks. It's your only source for live beer radio that brings expert brewers together with, well, expert drinkers. This is the radio program with a head on it. This is The Session.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to The Session. I'm your host, Justin Crosley, here for the month of December.
Whoa! Whoa, December 2?
You know
what happened? Oh, no, I got it wrong.
I was like, yes, I don't have to do a lot. But now,
no, I don't think I'll be here at all in December.
Oh, shit.
The other way around.
But I am covering one of your shows for you in December, so I got you back there. We got a great show for you today. The Session, of course, is brought to you by the great folks at More Beer. They've been sponsoring this show since day zero. And for years, the folks at More Beer have been leading the charge when it comes to cool and unique homebrewing equipment like the Robo Brew, the easiest way to brew all grain. Made from stainless steel, the Robo Brew allows you to make 9 gallons of beer all in one vessel. From boil to mash to cooling, the Robo Brew truly is self-contained. So if you're thinking about getting into all-grain brewing, you should seriously consider the Robo Brew. Or up your fermentation game with the all-new Fermentosaurus plastic conical. It has a 9-gallon capacity, a stainless steel stand, a sturdy butterfly dump valve at the bottom, and the best part, it'll hold up to 35 psi. Check it all out and more over at morebeer.com. God, I love those guys.
They're handsome.
You know, one of the Ann Moores is the Vintner's Harvest fruits.
Is that right?
Yeah,
from our guest today?
Yes.
Well, we've got Oregon specialty fruit on the program. Chris Hodge is going to be talking to us today. And as Tasty has just let us know, you can buy the product right there at More Beer.
Yeah.
Go to morebeer.com. Check it out. Got a lot to do today. Do a little beer news later. Gary Glass from the American Homebrewers Association is going to join us later on the program, too.
Oh boy.
Yeah, they put out a new homebrew and homebrewer survey. They've been doing that the last few years, a really comprehensive survey. So he's going to come give us some insight into what's happening in the homebrew world.
I can't wait to hear that. Wow, that's fun.
Yeah,
like what? Like numbers and shit like that? Or like
going up or going down?
Numbery stuff,
All right,
I
well,
think.
wake me up when that happens. No, I do like hearing that because for years, the homebrewing industry needed that. I remember being in the shack at More Beer going, I wonder how many people actually do this thing.
Right.
And nobody had those numbers.
Yeah.
Until the BA came along, or and started doing that.
And they have it professionally done too. They're not like putting out a Google survey. Like,
it's not like Gary and like Bradley going, "Hey, just guess." I don't know.
Yeah. Well, they're manning a phone bank and they're calling every phone number in the U.S.
Yeah.
I'm a little nervous about it actually.
Oh.
Well, the last time I read it, when I was on the governing committee, they would share it with us there. The Brewing Network showed up all over the thing.
That's right.
With questions like, where do you learn about home brewing? Where do you go for resources? Who's your favorite? We were like number 3 on like every list, like only below the Homebrewers Association itself. And I don't remember what the other one is. Some of the magazines showed up really, like our wonderful sponsor BYO. Some showed up there. So I'm a little nervous. It's been a while since I've read it. What if we've dropped down in the rankings? What if our...
But they don't do it every year, though, right?
Our ratings aren't too good
Everything
anymore.
sags with age, I hear.
Yeah.
Even your ratings. Right. Well, today you can tell, though. I don't know.
We're not used to looking up on the list. We're usually looking down. Like, hey, how you guys doing? A nice little podcast here.
I know.
We could be looking up.
We could. We'll see. Maybe I should contact him ahead of time at the break and say, hey, if there's any change in the wrong
Sandbag
direction,
this thing for us, dude.
Yeah.
Well, if Drew and Denny beat us, I'm gonna drive to Reseda or whatever, and let Drew's dogs loose on the street or something like that. It'll make him cry.
Yeah, with Exponential Brewing or whatever it's called.
What's in a number anyway?
Their podcast.
I think it's Expectro Patronum Brewing.
I think that's what it is. Yeah. Expectorant Brewing. I forget what their podcast.
It makes you cough up all your phlegm while you listen to it.
I think it's called Elderly Brewing, isn't that?
Expose Brewing or something.
I love you, Drew and Denny. Don't forget your old-ass guy podcast.
Unless you're higher than us on that list.
That's right.
And then we mean everything.
And I will hate you.
Even George W. Bush is trying to be younger than those two guys.
He is.
He's 81.
That's true. He's trying to grope his way back to youth. That guy.
If he's still alive.
Hey, maybe the fountain of youth is in cakes. You never know. Grab some cakes and you can get younger.
The guy's a mess over there. The world is a mess. Everything's falling. It's making me feel better about myself. How bad the world is.
Really?
Yeah. Haven't you told?
You're feeling good.
Couldn't
lately?
you tell? Well, it's not. Let's not say good.
Oh, all right.
It's better.
Okay.
Yeah. I read the news and I'm like, I haven't done that. Yeah. So,
that's true.
Yeah.
I should come out and say that you inappropriately groped me at a party.
Oh man.
People would believe it. They just wouldn't care.
Yeah, does verbal count?
People has said that. People have said that about at least 2 people in this room.
I have never inappropriately groped you.
Right.
So there's a difference.
Yeah. He's explaining to you that it's not inappropriate.
Apparently there's a time and a place for everything.
That's right.
No,
a song?
You just don't know what inappropriate actually means. Let's mansplain inappropriate to you. Everything that's happened is totally appropriate.
Everything in your life at the Brewing Network, 100% appropriate.
Yeah. Oh, okay, good.
That reminds me, I was looking through our reviews.
It's in the HR manual.
I've been working in iTunes a lot because
you hate your life.
Because I hate my life. And I hired a guy yet again to try to fix this thing that's been going on for years. And he did the very thing I told him not to do. He fucked everything and crashed the server. Anyhow, so I've been in iTunes quite a bit.
See what happens when you pay people?
I know. I always go back to this. I do not know what I'm doing. I have no idea what I'm doing when it comes to web, technology, like all of this stuff. I never have.
Yeah.
So I've always taken the approach let's find somebody to do it. I end up doing it myself every goddamn time. I just go back to Google and figure it out, man. Well, anyhow, I'm trying to figure out some of the stuff on iTunes, so I made the mistake of going back through some of our reviews on this podcast.
Oh, God.
On iTunes today. Oh. Yeah.
They can do that?
Apparently.
Yeah.
And the first segment of the show is probably proof of this. 5 minutes of beer talk.
Oh, I remember those days.
3 hours and 55 minutes of dick jokes. Now, we have a great rating. We're actually we have like a 4.5 star. We're almost 5-star rating.
Yeah.
But it is either love or hate. We are either there's a million 5-star reviews, and then there's several 1 stars, and they all pretty much say the same thing, which is disheartening because people complain about Yelp reviews and they're unfair to business owners and stuff, and they can be. But I've learned how to read those reviews, and you look for trends. And if you find a trend, you can assume it's accurate. So I can't help but think that all we do is 5 minutes of beer information and then a bunch of dick jokes because that's the only bad review we get.
Right. Well, and I think that happened a lot more often when we did 5 hours of radio.
Right.
And now that it's 3 hours of radio,
right,
it's 5 minutes of beer news or 5 minutes of beer information and an hour of dick jokes. So we're cutting that down.
I can't remember the last time we told a dick joke, really. I feel like we've moved on.
Well, I think they're using it as a general category.
I guess you're right.
So,
I feel like we've moved on to just, normal sexism.
We do 20
jokes.
minutes with touching.
Like a general.
Yeah. So are you saying that review has flaccid?
Yeah, that's what I would say.
Okay.
You'll know it when you see it.
I mean, the only thing that was heartening was the sheer amount of 5-star reviews. Because with the amount of ones that I read, I was like, wow, how is it that we have 4.5 stars?
Here, let me ask you honestly. Have you gone in and rated the Brewing Network 5 stars personally?
Never.
No, neither have I.
No, I don't believe in that sort of... See?
Well, the 5 stars are the guys that like the dick jokes.
Yeah, well, that's true.
Right.
We may be juvenile, but we have ethics.
Right.
Okay? We wouldn't, I wouldn't post about myself.
That's true.
Then why'd you have me make 100 email addresses?
Warren!
Shut up, Beardy!
So much for that NDA.
Tired of you. That's right. Call John. Well, as I mentioned tonight, we've got Oregon Specialty Fruit on the program. Chris Hodge is going to talk to us. We're going to learn all about fruit purees and fruit and fermentation and different options for you there. So we're going to give you more than 5 minutes of beer information. How about that? Let me get through a few announcements, as always. And tonight, our announcements are brought to you by Drake's Brewing Company. You can go to drinkdrakes.com and check them out over there. They got a new beer out, the Dark Wing. What is it? Is it double? No, it's just an IPA. Dark Wing.
7.75. It's up there pretty high.
It is, isn't it? 7.5%, 63 IBUs. Dark Wing IPA brings you bright hop notes of crushed pine needles, dank herbaceousness, and a touch of grapefruit marmalade sweetness. So... check it out. You can go to drinkdrakes.com. They got a lot of events going on throughout the year, and we work with them quite a bit. So, good people over there. All right. Let's see. What do I have in the announcements today? Oh, I'm going back to Colorado this week, and we're doing a live show this Friday, November 17th. We're going to have Peter Buchart on the program.
Oh, whoa.
Wow.
Yeah. He's got a new brewery, Purpose Brewing.
Okay. Who's Peter Buchart again?
Formerly of New Belgium. The artist formerly, I think he was with New Belgium for 20 years.
Yeah, a long time.
And he recently, I guess he left, right? Did he leave
He may
to
have
start the brewery?
something going on there, but I think he's got a new thing.
Okay.
He's got his own gig.
The current brewery was in the works, so it wasn't just transition.
Got it. Well, I'll get to the bottom of everything. So come out and hang out with me at the Hop Grenade in Fort Collins, Colorado. We'll be there doing a show, and they're opening. There's an ice rink there, right in front of our right in front of our thing. Well, it's on a park like we are here. It's a smaller park.
Yeah.
And they do grass in the summer, and then they dig it all up.
They dig it up.
Yeah, that's a whole thing.
Do they replant
I'll come
it
back to that in a
somewhere
second. They dig it all up, and then they put in a cool ice rink for the winter. Great idea, right?
Sure.
The problem is when they then go back to grass in the summer. Mm-hmm. And the owners of the building apparently have never heard of AstroTurf, which would take the transition about a week maybe maximum.
Yeah, or sod or whatever.
No, those they do sod.
Oh, okay.
It's a month-long transition where they put up this big green fence all around the park.
So you can't use the park a month afterwards.
Not only that, it just looks awful right out in front of...
Yeah, it looks like
everything's
closed to construction or something.
They're like, this is Colorado. We do real grass.
I wonder how they do it then in Walnut Creek at the park there, too. That's real ice.
They
like the
put
one
it
in
on top.
Right, yeah, they build it on top.
Why not just build a 3-foot or 3-inch, platform and then ice that?
Great question.
They're in Colorado.
Oh.
And he's like, and I talked to them about it, and he was bragging. He's like, we're the only location of its kind, that does this.
Yeah, inefficient.
And I was like, don't be fucking proud of that. This is what I'm here to tell you, that you're doing it wrong. Oh, people are calling us asking about it. I'm like, well, are you answering them honestly?
Well, also, you're asking about it. Doesn't mean because you're asking about it doesn't mean that it's a good thing.
Yeah, they're on the list of the best and the worst. There's one on each list. God. No one's doing that.
Well, they're opening the ice rink this Friday, too, doing a tree lighting, and then we'll
That's
be
cool.
inside the Hop Grenade broadcasting a live show with Peter Burkhardt and then one of the owners of Tap and Handle, another beer bar in Fort Collins, and the owner of what I think is the best bottle shop in Fort Collins. So it's a Fort Collins beer show this Friday the 17th. Come hang out. We've also got our huge Brewing Network store-wide sale of all our merchandise. We've been given 20 to 50% off almost everything, and it's almost all gone. So thanks for doing that, guys. I told you I wanted to clear it all out. We're going to get you some new merch in the new year, but you got to buy this stuff first. So head over to thebrewingnetwork.com/store or just hit the store button on the homepage there and get what's left. There's not much. A lot of holiday gifts in there. And 20 to 50% off, so some really good deals. And we have Sour Hour shirts on sale now.
When are we going to have Dr. Homebrew shirts on sale? What's going on?
You never asked.
Do we even have a
asked.
session shirt?
I asked.
We don't even have a session shirt, no.
Yeah.
Wow.
What's going on?
These things don't sell well, to be honest with you.
No.
I mean...
Well, but if things aren't selling well, I want to be a part of not selling well.
Yeah.
I want to be the extra weight that drags us down.
That's better than not selling at all.
Thank you, Warren.
Sour Hour shirts are going to sell better than Dr. Homebrew shirts.
Think so?
Let's be honest.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe. Numbers are tied. We're there.
Yeah?
We're the same.
Both people might buy one.
Yeah. Both listeners. Yeah. Well, anyway, go check it all out in the store. You can keep doing your Amazon shopping through us. We appreciate that, especially around the holiday season. I know you're all going to do Amazon, so click the Amazon link on our homepage. Believe me, it's a big deal to us, and a lot of you do it, so we appreciate it. You can do it in both the U.S. and the U.K. There's a link for each of you on the website. And then just go shop as you normally do. We won't spy.
Much.
Yeah.
Subscribe and join the BN Army for as little as $2 a month. You get our newsletter. Plus, you're entered into the More Beer monthly donation giveaway, which is a chance to win $100 to spend over at More Beer, which is like a batch of beer or... I don't know. I haven't shopped for homebrew shit in a while.
Right.
What can you get for $100?
Ingredients.
Yeah, you get ingredients for at least 2 beers, 2 10-gallon.
2 beers.
2 10-gallon bags.
You can get a lot of stuff, especially with all the new innovations that More Beer's coming out, the new product line. That's become the kind of like recharging, and I think they're recharging homebrewing.
Okay.
With all the kind of stuff like we were talking about the Fermentosaurus and all that kind of stuff. So you can do a lot of damage with $100.
All right. Well, sign up to join the BN Army. Just click the donate button, and we'll enter you into all that. Plus, you get our wonderful newsletter written by Kim Shimke.
See, someone in the chat already. I would get a Dr. Homebrew shirt. No one's ever said that about a Sour Hour shirt.
In the chat tonight.
Right.
Yeah, so one.
Yeah. Get it to about 150. And
How's Taryn feeling, by the way? The pregnancy's going well?
What's that?
How's Taryn doing, by the way?
Because she's the one who asked.
Oh.
Get it? She asked for this.
No,
Your
I
wife?
didn't. No.
Remember her?
No. I spent all weekend with her. I'm trying to forget.
Trying to forget it all.
So I'm on my 3rd beer right now. I never do that.
Yeah. All right, get updates and other things over on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and send feedback to feedback@thebrewingnetwork.com. You can send your show ideas there, too. All right, do we have a Twitter game?
No.
What?
Yes, we do. I'm just kidding.
Okay.
Fooled you.
I was shocked. Fooled me, too.
Twitter Game is brought to you today by the Wine and Hop Shop, locally owned and operated for over 40 years. Great friendly service with over 50 combined years of brewing experience. Half the staff has brewed professionally. And, best part, Brewing Network listeners get $8 flat rate shipping on orders under 50 pounds. Just enter BN shipping in the notes field of the shopping cart, and then the discount will be taken after checkout. Most items ship within 24 hours, and it's the only place to get Wisconsin Hop Exchange and Gorst Valley hops grown right there in Wisconsin. Yeah. By the way, Wisconsin was once the top hop producing state in the Union.
Wow.
Yeah. Learn something every day. All right. AHA members get 10% discount, too, so check it out over at the Wine and Hop Shop. What's our Twitter game?
Well, I don't know how many people know this, but Disney, the Walt Disney Company, they have a lot of things, movies on Netflix recently.
Okay.
Past year or whatever.
I see.
But recently they pulled all that content from Netflix, and they have announced that they're going to start their own Netflix-like streaming service, which will be, quote, significantly lower in price than Netflix itself. In popularity.
And options.
Apparently, they're going to be streaming for first all of the recent releases, and they're going to be doing 4 or 5 movies a year, custom just for this service. Part of this is a 2-prong approach. One is ESPN. That's the first thing they're going to be launching. So it's an ESPN streaming service.
Wow.
Then they're going to do movies in like 19.
Are you getting paid for this through your other podcast?
No. Okay. I am not getting paid through earsup.com.
Okay.
So it got me thinking, if the BN launched a movie streaming service, what would we show you?
Ooh.
What sorts of movies would we be streaming?
This is a terrible question.
Give me titles, give me genre, whatever you, whatever. I'm just very
Every
curious.
answer is going to be Hot Shots.
Love that movie.
Part you.
All right, that's your Twitter game.
Sure is.
Yeah.
It will be.
Yeah.
Send it in. We'll pick a winner at the end. All right, how about some feedback?
Yay.
All right. Feedback's brought to you, of course, by our good friend John over at the Beer Law Center. You go to beerlawcenter.com. He can protect your trademark like he does mine. Sent him a bunch of work this week.
No, really?
Oh, man, they just keep rolling in right now.
Attaboy.
Everybody wants that hop grenade. But he takes good care of it for us. He can do that for you. Plus, brewery filings. He's your dude. Go to beerlawcenter.com. So I've been talking about Colorado a lot recently. I was talking about the 14ers last week. Was it last week? Yeah.
Yeah.
The big mountains that you climb. There's several 14ers. And, of course, and I said, by the way, like, you know, don't take my word for it. I'm probably screwing up this information.
You had a disclaimer. Yeah.
Right.
I got corrections.
Oh, no, we got corrections.
This one was about Bevo, though. I don't remember her. I don't remember Bevo saying anything, although I don't really listen.
She likes 14ers.
But he says, hello, hiking enthusiasts. I wanted to clear up the conversation you were having about hiking 14,000-foot mountains. Yes, us Coloradans do love to climb our 14ers. He says he's only bagged 2. But it's not as bad as Bevo was imagining.
Whoa!
Apparently, Bevo was thinking that Half Dome was half the trip that a 14er would be. But it's a similar climb. So he wanted to remind us that we're not starting at the same altitude as we are. So in order for a 14er to count, you have to climb at least 3,000 feet in elevation. So a trailhead there may actually start at 11,000 feet.
Yeah, that's not that bad.
Oh, so they have a handicap.
There's a handicap. Whereas Half Dome, I don't know what elevation it is, but it's not that high. Actually, it's kind of high.
It might be 2,000.
Yeah, it's a couple thousand. Anyhow, he says Half Dome is a 14-mile round trip with a total elevation gain of 4,800 feet. But for a 14er to count, you must climb at least 3,000, with the trailhead maybe starting at 11,000 feet. So the hike would be, what is he saying? The hike would be about the same as a summit for 14ers, maybe just a little longer at Half Dome. So just want to clarify that they're not completely insane. They're not going from 0 to 14,000 feet.
Okay.
Is the gist.
They need Sherpas and stuff.
He does say the only thing that would make a 14er
nice try, Warren.
more difficult is exerting yourself at that high of an altitude. He says people do get altitude sickness quite a lot. And he says, thanks for talking about Colorado so much.
I just found out that people over 55 lose their altitude sickness.
What do you mean lose it?
You don't get it anymore.
Why?
I don't know. Didn't go that far. I just heard it. I just thought it was cool because I can order off the menu at Denny's now, and now I don't get altitude sick.
He heard it, but he can't remember the second half of the story.
Yeah.
It sounds odd to
he's
me.
never going to apply
odd,
it.
But it was presented to me this week.
Did you verify its authenticity?
No, I did not.
It was presented to me at a senior group meeting.
Yeah, at the IHOP.
I saw it on my AARP mailer.
Yeah.
Definitely.
In the Golden Years semi-annual meetup.
When are you going to take us
Edna
out to
did
the
a
movies?
presentation on altitude sickness.
Well, I can't get into the national parks yet for free.
You can't? What's that age?
I think it's 65.
That's fucked up.
I know, because I'm not going to want to go then.
You're not going to make it to that.
Why do you think they picked that age?
You know, if I'm gonna mount all those teeners.
Whoa. Whoa.
I'm turning you in.
Oh, you're not in Alabama now.
That's right. All right, let's see. Here's an email about craft buying craft, which, of course, we've been talking about quite a bit. Dear Wacko, Yakko, and Dot.
Wow. Animaniacs reference.
Which one of us do you think is Wacko and which is Yakko? I must be Yakko.
Yeah. I think you're Dot.
I thought he was Dot. Doc was Dot.
I don't know. I think Doc would be Yakko.
Oh, please.
Because it's weird.
All right.
I don't know.
Well, Jeff writes in, he says, last week Clown Shoes Brewing was bought by Sam Adams' little brother, Harpoon Brewing.
Ooh.
While Budweiser have stated they're done buying craft for now.
Oh.
For this week.
I didn't read that. This is all from the listener. I don't know. So he wants to know our opinion for whatever reason. Do you think it's that's just opened the door for more mid-level consolidation, I guess, with Anheuser-Busch backing out? And at what point do these craft breweries stop being independent? Well, the second question we've talked, I think, ad nauseum. There's the answer, I think, is rather personal to you. The Brewers Association has a definition. You can go by that. You can go by your own definition, like there's so many variables. Maybe people retain control over their brewery, but just take on investment, like Brooklyn was talking to us about last week. Mm-hmm. Or any other number of things that might make you decide something is independent or not. So I can't really answer that for you. But does Budweiser backing out open the door for more mid-level consolidation? I don't think so.
No, it was obviously happening while they were actively buying, so it shouldn't affect anything.
I do think mid-level consolidation is going to continue to grow.
Yes,
because it's a smart move.
Yeah.
But I don't know that Anheuser-Busch backing out has anything to do with it.
No.
If anything, maybe Anheuser-Busch not buying up more breweries, if that's true, by the way, will start to manage the cost of these breweries being bought up. The payouts, I guess, is what I'm getting at. Because, you need these large companies to pay $1 billion for Lagunitas. In the mid-level, no one's going to do that. So I wonder if it'll kind of wrangle things in a little bit.
Lower expectations.
And get some reality going about... although if I owned a small brewery right now, I wouldn't want that kind of fucking reality. I would want the $1 billion payout.
Yeah, I would be reading the story crying right now.
That's right.
This is what I was holding out for.
Yeah, reading the story. Me talking about me making some asinine prediction. But it's going to keep happening, and all we get to do is watch and see. Frankly, the only people I think that have control over whether this is going to matter or how far it goes are the small brewers themselves.
Yeah.
And that's why you hear people like Garrett over at Maui Brewing Company. He gets really upset when small brewers sell. And I'm sure in some ways, he's happy for his friends to have a big payday. But he knows it hurts his industry. He feels it hurts his industry. So to me, the only thing that's going to show this playing out for us or what it's actually going to mean and the beer that we get in our glass, it's all down to those small professional breweries. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, we could do the whole thing where we're going to buy with our dollars or whatever, but come on.
Vote with your wallet. It never happened. That happens for about a month, and then people go, well, I really enjoyed the way Lagunitas IPA is, so I'm just going to drink it. And then 6 months later, you're telling people that you drink only craft beer, which isn't true. So,
in fact, I got another... Where's that email? Oh, yeah, that's the next email. So this is kind of interesting about the same topic. Thank you for writing in, by the way, Jeff. John writes in, greetings to Justin and the crew of the session. And then he says we're awesome. And then he goes...
No, don't gloss over that.
Wow.
Yeah.
He says, I was inspired to write after listening to you discuss the Brewers Association and their publicity stunt to try and raise $213 billion to buy AB InBev. I found it intriguing to hear you all give your thoughts on who owns beer. I work in a high-quality mom-and-pop liquor store in New Jersey. It's the wine and whiskey country in Hackettstown. He says, we feature the best craft beer selection in the area.
Never heard of it.
However...
New Jersey?
As soon as we learn of a buyout or takeover, we change the labels on the shelf. So, for example, Lagunitas now reads Heineken on our price list.
Nice. I love that so much.
In addition to the brewery, so its price says Heineken Lagunitas. Goose Island now says Anheuser-Busch. And he says, we want people to know where their money really goes. And he says, I have half a mind to change the Founders tags as well. Who bought Founders? They got
Founders
bought?
like 25%. I think
so they did the
Budweiser. Yeah,
okay.
let me look at that.
He says, I personally take a hard line.
It's a Spanish company.
Oh, Constellation, maybe?
No, from Spain, like European Spanish.
Oh, gotcha. He says, I personally take a hard line when it comes to the issue. I no longer drink Goose Island, Ballast Point, though Cutwater is awesome, and I have no problems with that. Is that a Ballast Point beer?
No, that's from
That's
Ballast
the
Point
distillery.
payout money. That's independently owned. That doesn't have to do with
Oh, that's the liquor.
The distillery.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
UCF's thing.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, Mahu San Miguel. Warren was actually right for a change. And a Spanish brewery owns Founders.
Got it.
A change.
30% ownership.
But he says he doesn't buy from Founders, Breckenridge, Terrapin, or Devil's Backbone. And there's plenty of other great companies out there. While those whom have sold out made many beers I enjoy drinking, I've found great substitutes. And he says, keep up the great work and suck it tasty.
I wonder how much of their label jockeying matters. Like, I wonder if it influences people or if it's just them being able... Like at Monument up the street, Monument Liquor, they have Pliny the Hipster as a label instead of Pliny the Elder.
Yeah.
Because they're tired of people coming in, damn Pliny the Elder,
right.
And they don't know shit about anything,
and it doesn't matter,
right? So I wonder if that kind of thing matters, or is just for them to like feel good about the industry they work. I applaud it. Obviously, I applaud it. So
I would guess it doesn't affect sales, but it is I think it's a nice gesture to provide more information, even if it's not just feel good for them. If they're just like, well, we actually just want everyone to know what they're buying. We're not going to, obviously, we're not telling them not to buy it. We have it on the shelf.
Right. We bought it.
So
you should buy it.
Yeah. In fact, if I were them and I found a downward trend, I'd change the label back. They're still a retailer.
Right.
You know?
That's true.
Anyway, and one last one on 14ers.
God, it's 14er night here.
Yeah.
Dog's happy.
Ugh, I'm already tired and I haven't even walked anywhere.
Justin was a little off. There's not 9 or 12. There's 58 14ers.
Okay.
And some you can drive to the top of or within a few hundred feet of the summit.
That doesn't sound... I did a
Justin
14er. What'd you do?
Yeah.
I drove up to it, got out, took a fart, and then got back in and drove home and had a beer.
Yeah.
I did 10 14ers that way.
I don't think my bus would make it to the top, so I can't even drive them. I can't make it on the walk. My bus can't make it on the drive. There's no 14ers for me.
That's why you got the Beamer.
I don't
It's
know why I
fine.
chose it'll run out of battery. I'm telling you.
Solar power! I don't know. I'm trying to help.
I'm like
The Ford Beamer.
the flatlands,
Yeah.
as much as I can be. Be in the flatlands. He says it's awesome to watch, as a matter of fact, the Flatlanders up at that elevation because they turn green as shit and can't breathe, he says.
That sounds like fun to watch.
That's from Joe in Castle Rock, which is at 6,400 feet elevation.
Oh.
So I actually grew up at about 4,500 feet, 4,000 feet, something like that, in the high desert there.
Yeah.
So that kind of elevation doesn't bother me. But you can be sure as shit, at 14,000 feet, I'd be in trouble.
There's no way, dude. I grew up at about 238 feet.
Yeah, you're like right here.
Yeah, so I'm just like, eh.
Yeah.
And I get up in a plane and I start shitting my pants.
But there's more oxygen in the plane than there is down here.
I go up the stairs. I'm like, I can't do it. It's too much.
What airline are you flying that there are stairs to get on the airplane?
The cool ones, I think out of Burbank you can do that. Or I've done it, John Wayne.
That surprises me
Some
that
ones
you
on
would
John
do
Wayne.
that. Like, you can see everything. And,
Yeah, you get on the tarmac. I feel like a celeb. Like a Kardashian.
Yeah.
You know?
You are a celeb in some circles.
Thank you. They're more like egg-shaped ovals.
Keeping Up with JP.
Pear-shaped.
The new show on the Brewing Network.
Oh, my God. That'd be 5 minutes.
It's basically the session.
Yeah. Well, that's true. Let's check in with JP, petting cats. All right. Thank you for tuning in.
All right, we should take a break because my glass is empty. And we've got to get to Oregon Specialty Fruit. We've got Chris Hodge here who's going to talk with us. And before we go, check out the Beersmith Brewing software. Go to beersmith.com. It's the best home brewing and professional brewing, technically, software on the web. You get a free 21-day trial. There's video tutorials, podcasts, you name it, all over at beersmith.com. And you definitely should check it out because they're a great sponsor of ours. Brad's a good dude. All right. We're going to take a break. When we come back, Oregon Specialty Fruit. Our number, 888-401-BEER, if you want to call and ask any questions. Also, we got a chat room. Just hit the chat button. I think it's under Community on our webpage.
It is, as a matter of fact, Justin.
And Bevo's in there to take your questions. Hang in there. It's the session. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Brewcasters. Brewcasters on the Brewing Network.
Are you a member of the White Labs Customer Club? If not, you should be. It's the easiest way to earn free stuff for turning in your old homebrew labels from either Vials or Pure Pitch. All you have to do is save your labels and redeem them for things like free yeast, an exclusive White Labs t-shirt or sweatshirt, and even the opportunity to brew with the yeast man himself, Chris White. Signing up is easy. Just go to whitelabs.com/customer club, fill out the registration form, and then mail in your labels. They will return the favor by sending you awesome White Labs swag. Go sign up today at whitelabs.com/customer club. White Labs, pure yeast and fermentation since 1995.
The 21st Amendment.
Watch out!
Do you like beer? They make beer.
Watch out!
Do you like friends and fun? They make friends and fun.
Watch out!
Do you still like to have a good time? The 21st Amendment.
Watch out!
The 21st Amendment in San Francisco, located at 563 2nd Street, 2 blocks from the building where baseball is seen and played. Try their beers in the pub or try them in the can, featuring Monk's Blood. Made with real monk.
Watch out!
So why not have the best time of your life? Go to the 21A and Sean O'Sullivan will personally greet you with a can of Monk's Blood. The 21st Amendment.
Watch out!
This advertisement is not in any way affiliated nor associated with the 21st Amendment Bar and Pub, nor its subsidiaries or affiliates. This telecast is not copywritten by the 21st Amendment for the private use of the Brewing Network. Any use of this telecast without Jamil Zainashev's consent is prohibited. Suck it, JP.
Brewing great beer is a process of continuous learning, and the best books on every aspect of brewing can be found at Brewers Publications, with more than 50 awesome titles like Modern Homebrew Recipes by Gordon Strong, Designing Great Beers, the Ultimate Guide to Brewing Classic Beer Styles by Ray Daniels, American Sour Beers, Innovative Techniques for Mixed Fermentations by Michael Tonsmeyer, For the Love of Hops, The Practical Guide to Aroma, Bitterness, and the Culture of Hops by Stan Hieronymus, and Radical Brewing, Recipes, Tales, and World-Altering Meditations in a Glass by Randy Mosher, plus many, many more. These are the books and the authors with the knowledge to push your brewing farther than you thought possible. And you'll find them all at fine homebrew and book retailers everywhere. And visit the website at brewerspublications.com. Brewers Publications, all the best on beer and brewing.
Marin Brewing Company in Northern California has been making award-winning beers for more than 25 freaking years. Today, I want to tell you about their new 12-ounce cans of Mount Tam Pale Ale. The good stuff. Mount Tam is bright gold, 5.5% ABV to keep you feeling good, and has been winning awards since 1989. If you're visiting the Bay Area, get your butt out to Marin Brewing Company. They pour tasty beers and serve great food every day until midnight. Come in for a tour, stay for the food, and pick up a 6-pack of cans of Mount Tam Pale Ale to enjoy at home, camping, biking, or whatever the hell you do. Owner Brendan Moylan has this to say about Marin Brewing beers.
It's freaking awesome.
Marin Brewing has won more than 100 gold medals in international competitions. Check out marinbrewing.com for all their award-winning beers, food, and merch. Marin Brewing Company in Larkspur, California. Award-winning taste, refreshing finish. It's freaking awesome.
Tuned into this session because life's too short to listen to crappy radio.
All right, welcome back to the show. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. And thanks to our great sponsor, Great Fermentations. Go to greatfermentations.com, the largest catalog of Blickman products on the web. And their staff is some of the best trained in the biz using those products. Top-notch customer service and same-day shipping on many items. Go check them out at greatfermentations.com or like them on Facebook, GR8 Fermentation, Instagram, and Twitter. All right, as promised, I told you we've got Oregon specialty fruit in the studio with us, and Chris Hodge came all the way down from Oregon to hang out with us. Chris,
thanks, Justin. Thanks for having me, man.
I appreciate it. Do you drive yourself down here? Do you fly down for us?
Flew and drove.
I love it. You did perfect. All the ways.
Yes.
Whatever it took to get here.
Yeah.
I love
like
it.
hair.
I can tell. And thank you, because nobody else does, and we need it in
That's
our life.
true.
We need one person to care in our life.
Yeah. They wouldn't have walked.
So tell us, Chris, about Oregon specialty fruit. And if we could just start with the history. My assumption is that you guys didn't start with fermentable fruit products. It maybe started somewhere else?
Yeah, canned fruit. Basically, 1935 was when the Geller family started the fruit company in the Willamette Valley, the fertile Willamette Valley of Oregon. And They started canning fruit because all the fruit was harvested within 5, 10, 15 miles of the production facility. And for about 30 years, that's all they sold.
Wow.
Yeah.
Doc, you remember those days? 30s when the Geller family canning line came online?
I remember seasonal food. When you can only get fruit certain times of the year.
Even in California, Doc? Are you lying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you lying? Yes, I am.
Yeah, telling the truth. No, but you can only get certain fruits or vegetables certain times of the year.
Okay.
And, it's May. Yay, we get strawberries.
Yeah.
And
God bless Mexico.
Yeah.
Tomatoes, strawberries, all
then
that.
along came Peru.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
all
the
that
Willamette
stuff.
Valley, though, is just like lush fruit growing region.
Great fruit growing region, great hop growing region, just a great region in general. I'm a Portland native and grew up in Oregon and have seen that evolution take place. Unfortunately, farming for fruit has happened in many parts of the country, and right now we're able to sell our fruit all over the world.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
year
amazing.
round.
That's
To Doc's
You're
point.
wrong. Yeah, exactly.
And you guys own the farms. Is that
We
right?
do not own the farms.
You don't? Okay.
No. Actually, we're sort of a negotiant with regards to the growers. And
Okay.
our evolution for growing has happened now to where we're sourcing fruit from many parts of the world, not just the Willamette Valley.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay. So your specialty then is acquiring this fresh fruit, and I assume then providing it in another format that is just as fresh, at least as close as you can get.
Post-digested.
To to consumers of different kinds.
Yeah.
Okay. And so how long ago did you start getting into fermentation products with fruit?
It was in the 80s when the Geller family realized that there was a need for purees for food ingredients, and Heinz became a really good customer of theirs.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
That's
And
a big land right there.
To this day, they're still a customer of ours.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Think about that. I'm trying to think of like the modern equivalent. That's like getting in at the ground floor when you go Heinz.
It was.
There's not a house in America that doesn't have a Heinz product in the in the cupboard.
Yeah, it's
Correct.
like Microsoft coming to you for their cardboard or whatever, you know?
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So got into it there, and then just have kind of been expanding ever since.
It basically sat there as a food ingredient for 25 plus years.
Okay.
And it wasn't until one of the past CEOs decided that, hey, you know what? This puree would work great for the craft industry.
Yeah.
And it certainly took off. The Abita group down in Louisiana was one of the first to grab onto our fruit, and from then it's been just constant growth.
Got it.
Yeah.
Now, is there multiple formats that you provide the fruit to brewers in, or is it just puree?
It's puree.
Okay.
I mean, it's a really great, simple process that doesn't take a lot of complexity. You take the fruit, you take off the skins, the pits, the seeds. You put it through into a cooking process to make it aseptic, so it's commercially sterile.
Okay.
Which is one of the best things you can do for brewing.
Yeah.
No microbial activity.
Right.
And it really is just a user-friendly product. You can store it ambient. You can ship it ambient. The shelf life's 18 months.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Wow.
there's really no reason not to use it.
Yeah.
If you're going to make a fruit-infused craft beverage.
And then it's just so fermentable, right? Just because of it being, the sugars being so accessible as a puree?
Yeah, it's single strength, so it's not like a concentrate. It's basically if you were to take 100 pounds of fruit, put it in a big old vat and macerate it, and then threw that into your vat, except the difference is there's no microbial activity in our fruit.
Got it.
Yeah.
That's actually a really good point to note, the single strength, because, you could have gone another way. There could be concentrates. But it's very simple to calculate that way then as a brewer. How many pounds of fruit per barrel? That's how much we need of the puree.
And that's exactly what brewers love. They realize that they're getting the purest form of fruit without having to actually go through all the hand cutting and macerating and stomping and grinding and sweating and
and their own variability in the product,
Yeah.
because you can make it consistently. They can't necessarily do
And
that.
all that stuff takes way longer than you ever thought it would.
Yeah.
Are you blending, within the same fruit, like are you blending raspberries in order to get a consistent sugar content?
Yes,
from
absolutely.
batch to batch,
Yeah.
so that way it's a reliable.
Yes, and that's one of the things that we like to stress is that much like hops, much like pot, you can't. It varies from crop to crop.
Sure.
And so our crops that come in, we always test the bricks. We have very high standards for what the incoming fruit's like, and we blend it. We don't blend a ton because we ultimately have very high standards for quality.
Yeah.
I like the pot reference. I feel
Yeah,
like.
just dropped it like it was
Like it was nothing.
I think like he knows his
Orion.
audience, you know.
Yeah.
He was like, well, it's just like pot, guys.
Yeah.
And all our listeners are like,
I like the way it was just another word in the sentence.
Yeah.
Well, he's from Oregon, too, so you got that going for him.
From the fertile Willamette Valley.
Is there a pot puree that you guys are selling now?
Not to my knowledge.
That's called shape.
Not that he would admit to.
I can neither confirm nor deny.
But let's just say we're big into dabs, so it's fine.
Now, I realize this is a dumb question even as I'm asking it, but I have to. The process of the peeling and the this is all a automated factory that's happening at Oregon Fruit.
I'd love to say that it was fully automated and there's no hands touching the fruit, but that's far from the truth.
Really?
Yeah. Actually, the activity itself is much like it was back in 1935. We have about
child labor.
Yeah, well, not that bad. But
Well, they're adults now.
I was thinking hippie feet. Like dirty hippie feet.
There are no feet involved.
Okay.
But yeah, it's really a simple process. We take the fruit in, we basically put it through a very, very fine screen, and it's a finishing screen that allows all the seeds and stems to come out. And the next thing you know, it goes into a big old kettle. We cook it for about 18, 20 seconds.
Okay.
Then it goes through a cooling tube system, and it's all closed. So by the time it goes into the aseptic bag, all you have is basically the puree of the fruit. That's it. Nothing more. Nothing less.
Pasteurized kind of a thing?
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what is the bag that it goes in then? The Mylar type of material?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And each bag, whether it's a 42-pound bag, 425-pound bag, or 2,300-pound bag, they're all the same bag.
Really?
Yeah.
We have one somewhere, I thought.
A 425?
It's on the roof. We got to go up there. Take the remote mic.
So that's a tote with a liner?
It's a tote with a liner. It's a steel drum with a liner. It's a cardboard box with a liner. Yeah.
So what is your... Do you store fruit frozen as well?
We do store, yes, absolutely, yeah.
So that's your core product, and then you build these totes and 42-pound bags out of that?
Yeah, it's a great question because we still do a lot of fresh fruit pureeing.
Yeah.
So red tarts, dark sweets, plums, blueberries, numerous amounts of raspberries and blackberries all come in fresh. We harvest, we buy, and then we flash freeze. So that's a really important question. People ask, how do you have this year-round? Well, we actually put in these giant freezers that keep it frozen.
Wow.
Do you freeze the fruit or do you freeze the puree?
The fruit.
Okay, and so then you
every day is harvest day when it comes out of the freezer.
Yeah,
okay.
pretty much.
Okay,
and then once it does become puree, we actually do keep it refrigerated so that we extend the shelf life.
Okay,
yeah.
But you said even then it's 18 months shelf life once you've packaged it and I can keep that at ambient temperature if I want.
We recommend the light fruits you refrigerate after about 5 months, only to retain the color. Oxidation will happen in anything, and what we recommend is that if you're going to keep a light fruit like a peach or an apricot or a strawberry, you actually put it into the refrigerator for the next 12 months.
Which is great advice because it's not just the flavor that beer drinkers are looking at. If they order a raspberry beer, they want it to look red.
Yeah, so, not maroon.
Yeah, or brown.
Or brown, right. Yeah. Well, we've got some beer in our glass. We're actually not going to mention who the breweries are, and that's just to protect their privacy. Some, of course, care or don't care if you say where they get their products from, and some do. Same as like when we talk to White Labs every now and then. They have brewers that care and brewers that don't.
But these brewers care.
But we did want to talk about some of the. Well, we don't know if they care. Actually, we didn't check.
We don't care if they don't care.
Right.
We didn't
not
check.
going to care.
I care if they care.
Yeah.
So let's talk about this Heretic beer, and let's see. Shit! I'm sorry.
So we're going to taste these beers and talk to you guys about them. And Chris, give us a lowdown. I guess we'll start with the one on the left.
The first one is the passion fruit guava, and I will tell you that tropicals have exploded. For the last 10 years, dark fruits were really the foundation for what our fruits were known for. But we started sourcing fruits from Brazil, Mexico, and Ecuador, and some of those fruits, passion fruit, mango, pink guava, all come from these countries. And this particular product, this particular blend, is really a nice tropical note.
It really is.
Yeah.
We've noticed that trend just on the show, too. And a lot of times, you can see why, because they end up being everybody's favorite beer, too. Yeah. That tropical, especially the guava. Someone recently even said, like, if you're looking to just nail it, just put guava in. You'll be fine.
The silver bullet.
Yeah.
Justin, that's so true. It's the aroma that really carries it. 80% of what you taste is what you smell, and the guava just pops in the nose.
Yeah.
It really does. And one of the things that we really, I grew up 34 plus years in the beer business, and I've never really been a huge fruit beer fan until the last year and a half. But these beers can finish dry. They're complex. They go with foods. They really fill a big void that was, for the last 5 years of the IPA craze, has really been sort of there.
Yeah. And those characteristics that you're describing, I think, are also testament to brewers just becoming more skilled. Not only better products available, but brewers knowing how to use them. Because I'm with you. I was kind of no fruit beer, and even now I'm pretty reluctant. It's got to be a brewery I know and love if I'm going to order their fruit beer, so that I can know that it's going to be dry. It's going to have all the things I like, and it's not going to taste. Sorry, but that it's not going to taste like a Lindemans.
Well, you're right. I think being a fruit beer enjoyer, lover, has gotten easier.
Yeah,
over the years, but I think people like us who kind of hold on to bitter things, right? Like I've been burned so many times by like poorly handled fruit.
Someone say bitter people.
I don't want to deal with it or whatever.
Sure.
But you're pleasantly surprised, I think,
nowadays.
More often than not. Yeah, and so the technology is kind of pushed forward. Well, everybody's enjoyment of fruit beers,
and the styles have sort of moved over to like fruited IPAs. I mean, when you said fruit beer. Yeah, I never was a big fan of fruit beer.
Yeah, well, that's a negative.
But in terms of fruited IPAs are everywhere.
Well,
you guys must sell a ton of blood orange.
We sell a ton of all our fruit right now, Tasty. We really, and there's a palate revolution going on. There really is. I don't care who you're talking to in the world of consuming alcohol, but there's not a single alcoholic product out there that doesn't have some fruit infused collection of flavors.
Right.
And the one thing I want to get away from is the word flavor, because it's really fruit that you're talking about.
Sure.
And I think that's where we talk about this idea of saying this is, a centuries-old tradition in the brewing world. I started in the business in 1984, and I traveled to Belgium 2 or 3 times a year for about the first 10 years. And every time I would go over, you go into the Seine Valley where all the lambics were made, and it wasn't a question that every single house in that country had fruit beers in their refrigerator.
Right.
This isn't something new, folks.
Yeah. We're new to it.
Yeah.
So you're differentiating between fruit flavor, which is in my mind like extract, where you dose a concentrate and whatever, versus fruit, which is this is actual fruit. It's not fruit flavoring.
Yeah. Is that what you're getting at here?
I'm just getting at the fact that it becomes integral in the entire process of brewing. So, I've got friends in the hop business, the malt business, and they all say the same thing. Innovation is where the industry is going. And whether it's innovation in how you roast your malt or the innovations of, X clones for hops, fruit is it. And it's a way for brewers to have fun again. And, with the softening of the craft industry in general, it's a way for them to stay relevant. It's also a way for them to capture market share that they lost.
Yeah.
It's also a way for them to say, hey, you know what? We're proud of the fact that we have these fruit beers now that happen to be our top 2, 3, 4 selling products.
Right.
Make brewing fun again.
Yeah. I got to find a way to
the red hats.
Oh, no.
Why does it have to be red?
Because to make America great again.
Right.
Oh.
It's a MAGA joke.
Political jokes.
Yeah.
I got it. Thanks, guys.
You're welcome.
Thanks for clearing that up for
You're
me.
welcome. At the break, I'll draw on the glass with a dry erase marker.
Now, am I right or wrong that the brewers are getting better too? Is it just your product that has made it why all these fruit beers are better, or are the brewers actually just getting better at what they do?
It's both, and I think what we've seen is that we sell to brewers that have 1-barrel systems or 1,000-barrel systems, and everywhere in between.
Okay.
So we're pushing. They're pushing the envelope. We aren't.
Yeah.
We're producing a good old-fashioned fruit for them to turn something magical into something even better.
Yeah.
And growing up in the craft beer business, you asked me 10 years ago if fruit beer would have been the next great thing. I would have said, "What the fuck?"
Yeah. I would have said. In fact, you would have said the opposite, because there was a period of time that, as people were being introduced to craft in the early '90s. Fruit beers were pretty popular, like Widmer's apricot, whatever.
That was Pyramid.
Pyramid. There you go. Thank you, Pyramid. And
they had Woodberry. Widmer had Woodberry.
Okay, so. There's several. So if I were you, the same question back then, I would have said no. They're going to go on the decline. Not this coming back now, right? But
Well,
thank God they're coming back better.
To answer the second part of your question, therein lies the real key to this whole success. The brewers themselves are pushing the envelope. Kettle sours, gozes, barrel aging, you name it. This is where fruit shines.
Okay.
And, it's Tasty mentioned IPAs. Yes, it's been hugely successful for us and the brewing teams across the country. But quite frankly, it's all the, sort of other types of beer styles are where this thing's really going to rise and stay.
Sure. That makes sense. And to your point, Tasty, I'm a little annoyed that everybody's making a blood orange.
It's sort of a no-brainer.
Well, right. But I'm not the biggest fan of it. Also, and you know why? I'll tell you why. For the same reason I don't drink a ton of IPAs anymore. So the bitterness already in an IPA. And to me, blood orange, almost any of the orange, it's not just a citrus that's being added. There's like a rind bitterness that I get often.
Well, what you're doing,
the pH change as well.
That's exactly right, Tasty. What you're mentioning is that pithy taste.
Yep.
So we source all of our blood orange out of Italy. And we source all of our grapefruits out of South Texas, and neither one of them have that pithy quality you're describing.
Interesting.
They're very pop citrusy. They're very mid palate sweetness.
Okay.
So you're not getting any of that off kind of weird sort of triangular flavor in your mouth.
Well, that I would like better then.
Yeah.
I'll give you a list of the breweries who clearly aren't using your product.
Please do. I'm sure I've met them.
Yeah. And I don't mean that they're. I think the beers are well made, and I just thought it's another trend that I'm not a part of because of the bitterness. Well, I'm not hip to. Like I don't get.
No, it's like any beer style. Some are made well, some aren't. It's like the hazy beer. Some are great, some aren't.
Got it.
And I'll give you a list of the people that are using our products, so you can go taste those first.
And I would like that. Yeah, just to get do a little comparison.
Yep.
All right, what's our next beer in our glass?
The next beer.
The first one was awesome, by the way. I finished
what was the fruit in that? I missed it.
It was a passion fruit pink guava, and that pink guava should have popped in the nose.
Yeah. No, it was amazing.
Yeah. Passion fruit is extremely tart. The pH levels are fairly, the Brix levels are fairly low, but it's a really intense fruit.
It smells like pog, like a pog juice almost.
Yep.
Passion orange guava.
Do you guys get the fruit imported and then blend in-house and puree it in-house?
These brewers are doing the blending themselves. So the brewer that made this particular beer bought passion fruit, they bought pink guava, and then they made their own ratios, which is how we recommend they do it.
Yeah.
Got it.
That way everybody can have their own unique recipe.
Sure.
Yeah.
And both you and Tasty have mentioned pH also. Is that something when using fruit that brewers really have to account for? Is there a large change in the
It's
pH?
more the Brix level, but the pH level is something that you have to account for if you're with your hop bill, because it really it can be very awkward if you're not careful.
Yeah, I think the fruits are probably like 3.5 or so. They're much lower than the finished beer.
Yes.
So you're going to lower the drinking pH by adding it.
Yeah.
But it depends how much you're adding. I mean, like I read something, like in a 5-gallon home brew batch, you might use one of your 49-ounce cans or something like that. But that's a fair amount of volume, several quarts in a 5-gallon batch. So, I mean, it will affect the pH.
Do you have to compensate for that, or you just let it go?
I don't know if you have to compensate. I'm just saying that
you have to be aware of it.
Be aware of it, and
okay.
you may want to end up compensating.
Because it'll really thin out the body of your beer and make it, in an IPA, you add a bunch of fruit to it that's going to lower the pH. It'll taste really thin.
I see.
Yeah, they become very linear in flavor, and that's one thing you have to be careful with. And that's why this next beer you're going to taste actually has pineapple and tangerine.
Okay.
It's really an IPA first, but then you get the notes of the fruit in the finish, and then it kind of fades away.
Yeah, and that one is almost you could almost argue that it was the hops if you didn't want to tell somebody you put fruit in it.
Well, those are the well-made fruited IPAs.
I would have no idea.
That are basically hop provide the vast majority of the citrus character.
Yeah.
And the blood orange is just like behind that.
Got it.
I don't know. I'd rather have the fruit. I mean, if you tell me it's a fruited IPA, I want to be able to know that there's fruit in there. I don't want to think like if I read on the label this has fruit in it.
Yeah.
And then I taste it. I mean, well, that just tastes like hops.
I see.
I would think it's a poorly made beer.
Yeah.
You just became one of the masses, dude.
Fuck. All right. Here we go. Yeah. I'm going to start drinking IPAs now.
Well, you got married, you had a kid.
What's your haziest IPA, please?
Yeah.
Well, you're okay with pectin haze.
I'm going to take an Uber home.
JP jumped the shark right here in front of our eyes.
That's true.
I had nothing to do with it.
Damn you.
I know, but that's me, right? My opinions are very clearly wrong in most cases, but
in this
that's
case,
what
you're
I would
right,
like.
because that's why the success of this category is exploding, because people like you and the other masses out there love to think that if they're buying a fruited beer, they want to taste the fruit.
That's what I want.
And it's good.
So with a beer like this, though, where, as we're saying, you could maybe do it with hops. You could have done it with hops. It's subtle below the hops. Can a brewery maybe save money on hops by getting the same effect using the fruit product and reducing the amount of hops they put in?
Well, I know we're only supposed to talk about beer for 5 minutes. I could talk about this for about an hour, but
Chris,
I will
just couch it into a dick joke, and it'll just go right.
Yeah. What does iTunes think about how much we talk about fruit?
Well, it's so funny you asked that question, because ultimately, what I would say is that if you're going to have an IPA and you want to have fruit in it, the best thing to do is make sure you make the IPA base first, and then add as much fruit until you get to that threshold where you're comfortable with.
Okay.
Period.
But, I mean, are you saying that you would maybe adjust your hop bill, though? To account for the...
Why would you waste all that money and great aroma hops if you really are going to try to produce a fruit-forward IPA?
Right.
And that's what I get out of this IPA. I get tons of hop aroma.
So are typically fruit purees cheaper than kind of the name brand tropical hop varieties that we can find?
Yes, but I won't say that you would still use the same amount in terms of the dollar amount spent. So there's a trade-off for sure. I'm not going to say you save money or it's the best method.
Yeah.
But I would say as a brewer, if I have these precious aroma hops that I paid $17 a pound for, I'm sure as hell not going to put them in a fruited IPA where I'm going to use them for an IPA where the hops shine. Ironically, Justin, what's really interesting, look at all the beer descriptions in the last 3 or 4 years. Everybody who's using these big hopped up IPAs are describing tropical fruit flavors and notes and aromas.
You're right.
You can't buy an IPA today that doesn't have the word pineapple or tropical or citrus or you name it.
Yeah.
I mean, they're describing fruits and everything they describe with the hops.
Sure.
Some people are even using the word juicy.
Juicy.
At least they're not using the word moist.
I'd prefer that, actually. I'd rather drink a moist IPA than a juicy IPA.
Same thing.
Well, this is another good beer. I think JP and I are at least in agreement that it's hard to tell there's fruit added to it. And I like Tasty's comment that means
it doesn't dominate.
Was done well, that.
Well made.
Maybe what they were going for.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think all the hops ruined it. I like the first one better. Get all the hops out of the way. Lower the alcohol.
Yeah.
Give me the fruit. If I'm ordering a fruit beer, I obviously like fruit beers.
Yeah.
Give me a fucking fruit beer. Stop wasting time. Don't waste my time. Let's go.
I like the variety.
That's true.
I like the first one with a little more, and this one with a little less.
Yes.
Variety is the
spice of life.
That's what they say.
I just made that up. How did you know I was going there?
All right, what's our third beer before we have to get to a break?
This is super special. This is a barrel-aged beer that has blackberries in it, and I mean, we can't really. You could probably describe the color on the radio better than I could, but it's gorgeous.
Red.
It's got a reddish.
Just hold it right there in the camera.
It's beautiful. It's absolutely stunning.
A bit of burgundy, maybe.
Yeah. This is what fruit was made for. When you make a beer like this and then you add fruit. I think this is if you turn the clock back 400 years when the Belgians were first experimenting with fruit. This is what they tried to make.
I like that you said this is what fruit it was made for. Not to keep us alive or vitamins. No. It was made for this kind of beer.
It wasn't food. Or for plants to continue growing other plants.
No.
It was made to be eaten.
I've got priorities.
Yeah.
It's made to be pureed, heated for 18 to 25 seconds, put in a bag, cooled, put in a bag, and then shipped to your favorite brewer.
Thank you, baby Jesus.
Because everything's an evolution.
Yeah.
And this is another wonderful California brewery who made this beer, and I got to tell you that these are the types of beers that I'm seeing all across the country. I get the pleasure and benefit of visiting most brewers in this nation, and everybody's experimenting with sours, kettle sours, gozes, barrel aging, you name it.
Yeah,
that's the future of the category.
Sure. This is another great example. You're right. Mm-hmm. I love California brewers.
And talk about food pairings.
Most of them, anyway.
I love you too, Justin.
Present company included.
Exactly. I'm just going to drink the beer and leave him alone. Poor kid.
Why? I won't.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to start seeing another culinary sort of angle to this whole thing, where chefs are really falling in love with the fruit beers.
Yeah,
for all the right reasons.
Sure.
Whether it's an aperitif, the main course, the dessert course, it doesn't matter.
Just great pairings, cooking with it.
Yep.
Yeah, it just fits a little better.
Yeah, and good aging. I mean, the good news is that if you're making these beers, instead of having a 90-day shelf life, you can have a 3-year shelf life.
I like it. So, do you guys give recommendations about pounds per barrel? Do you help educate breweries who are ordering from you? Maybe they haven't done a fruit beer before.
Yeah,
you do.
Yep.
Okay.
Tons of education. I'm learning every day. I mean, so it's not just us; it's actually the brewers themselves sharing information. We're really on the first sort of doorstep of what's happening with fruit. And brewers in this country really are just sort of experimenting on their own. So this kind of show, to me, makes all the sense in the world.
Yeah.
I mean, if we could have another chance to get on, in a year from now, the commentary is going to in much different.
It'll be different,
much at a much higher level.
Yeah, you guys are in a really, just being honest, it sounds like you're in a really good position in the brewing world because you've already been doing the fruit packaging for years. So you're just ripe.
For the picking?
So to speak. To provide a really good product. I mean, I'm just saying good on you. Really right place, right time.
Well, and plus we're family-owned. So we have no intention, and the owner is a third-generation Oregonian. He has no intention of doing anything except passing this company on to his kids.
Nice.
And I have no intention of stopping selling fruit until I retire.
Got it. I wouldn't do any different if I were any of you. These kids sitting home playing video games right now, just waiting to inherit the company. God bless them.
They're eating their fruit. They're eating their fruit.
Now, how do you like this? This is more fruit forward, JP.
Yes, it's a fruit beer, and I enjoy it very much.
And also sour. It's the first sour beer that we've had.
Yes, although not the first tart beer we've had.
Right. It's got some barrel in it.
Yeah, the first one was sour or tart.
It was? Oh, kettle sour? Okay.
Kettle sour.
Yeah, it was tart kettle sour.
Oh, it was a little mild. Okay.
Yeah.
It was mild, but it was. That's why I differentiated between tart and sour.
Well, you're looking at PDO and lacto, and so there's a lot going on in this beer.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very, very well made product.
Yeah. It's interesting. It's not just the fruit. There's a little chocolate in there. I feel like I get too.
Mm-hmm.
And I wonder if that's the barrel.
Maybe the barrel, but it's probably like the base beer. Maybe you had a little bit of darker malts. I think that can kind of come through with soured, darker beers.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I don't know. I haven't even looked at the container this beer is in, so I don't know.
One thing I like about your guys, this has blackberry in it, but the blackberry and raspberry, it's a puree, but you actually get some of the tannin and seed character in a good way that you don't get in extracts or flavorings and stuff like that.
Thank you for mentioning that because it's so important. Because if we take these whole pieces of fruit and when you push them through the finishing screen, everything but the seed goes through. So you're getting the tannins, you're getting the skin contact, you're getting little hairs that, everything that adds flavor to that fruit is going into that puree. And if you pour the puree out into a glass, it's not, thin. It's actually got some body to it. There's pectin, there's proteins, there's all the great stuff in fruit that you would expect.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sugar.
It's juicy.
Yeah. It is juicy, yeah.
But is it moist? How moist is it?
The right amount.
Moist boys.
The right amount of moist.
All right, well, let me get us to another quick break, and we'll come back. We'll taste a little more and talk a little more. Do not forget about our good friends over at White Labs. They've got 2 strains available added to the vault for homebrewers. Their collection of specialty, one-of-a-kind strains. WLP 066 London Fog Ale Yeast and 073 Artisanal Country Ale. Now available for pre-orders. Just go to whitelabs.com, the vault. Once each strain reaches 150 orders, White Labs will release the yeast and ship it directly to your doorstep. And good news for pro brewers, if you want access to any of the vault strains for your next brew day, just place a minimum order of 1.5 liters through yeastman.com or contacting a customer service rep. All right, White Labs, good people. We'll be back in just a couple minutes. We're talking, obviously, to Oregon specialty fruit and tasting some wonderful fruit beer. I'll have to get that list from you so I know which other ones to buy. Hang in there. It's The Session. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Brewcasters. On the Brewing Network.
Your support of the Brewing Network means everything to us. We couldn't produce shows without you. And we love giving you something extra for that support, like Brew Your Own magazine. You already know it's a great brewing magazine full of recipes, equipment how-tos, discussions of beer styles, and brewing techniques. Whether you're new to brewing and just starting out or you're an old pro, you'll always learn something from the articles in Brew Your Own. Plus, their amazing special issues like plans for building a Brutus 10 system, 250 classic clone recipes, and the Homebrewers Answer Book. Brew Your Own magazine and BYO.com are awesome resources for any brewer. Whether for yourself or as a gift, when you subscribe or resubscribe from the Brewing Network homepage, you directly support programs like this. Get a great magazine and support the Brewing Network. Subscribe to Brew Your Own right from the BrewingNetwork.com. Do you know the 3 most important rules in brewing? Sanitation, sanitation, and sanitation. And no one does it better than 5-Star Chemicals. 5-Star knows sanitation. You can only sanitize clean equipment. And 5-Star knows how to clean, too. For craft brewers and home brewers, 5-Star has what you need to keep your fermenters, serving tanks, kegs, and draft lines sparkling and free of any beer-spoiling bacteria. PBW, caustic, acid cleaners, Star Sand, SaniClean, lubricants and defoamers, pH stabilizers, and more. 5-Star Chemicals has cleaning supplies, safety supplies, heat exchangers, pumps, hoses, and valves. And 5-Star is proud to offer eco-friendly products that exceed customer expectations. If you have a cleaning problem, you need the 5-Star solution. Visit 5starchemicals.com or call 800-782-7019. 800-782-7019 and get the 5-Star treatment today. Are you looking for a simple brewing system that's great for all grain brewing, but everything on the market seems to be full of compromises? Blickman Engineering has the answer. The Blickman Brew Easy All Grain Brewing System. The Brew Easy is a complete system with easy upgrades and a beautiful compact design, perfect for any size brewing location. At its core, the Brew Easy is built on 2 gorgeous Blickman Boilermaker brew kettles, a high-temperature March pump, and either a top-tier gas burner or the new Boil Coil electric heater. The Brew Easy adapter lid allows the pots to stack on top of each other, forming an efficient, strong, and compact brewing setup that comes in 5, 10, and 20-gallon batch sizes. Upgrade your Brew Easy system with full automated control by adding a Blickman Tower of Power temp controller and make moving around easy with the Blickman Kettle Cart. The Brew Easy is modular. If you already own a Boilermaker kettle, you can build your Brew Easy by purchasing just the modules you need. The new Brew Easy all-grain brewing system. See it today at BlickmanEngineering.com and brew with Blickman quality on your new Brew Easy. If you work in retail sales, the restaurant industry, or are a new craft beer enthusiast, or you know someone who is, you have got to check out Beer 101. Beer 101 is an online course created for anyone wanting a quick introduction to the vast world of craft beer. Beer 101 covers the history of beer, brewing ingredients and processes, vital stats like ABV, SRM, IBU, and gravity, styles, tasting, glassware, and pairing beer with food. The Beer 101 course is offered by the Brewers Association at craftbeer.com. Also home to the truly awesome Beer Style Finder, a visual guide to every beer style. Quickly play with color, bitterness, and alcohol content to interactively explore the entire world of beer styles with a gorgeously designed interface to your favorite beverage. The new Beer 101 course and new Beer Style Finder are only available at craftbeer.com. Craftbeer.com, celebrating the best of American beer.
Hey guys, what'll it be?
I'm not sure. What do you recommend?
A lot of people seem to like the Hefeweizen.
Is that a German Hefeweizen or more of an American-style wheat beer?
I'm not sure, but I can give you a taste.
Okay, great.
The Cicerone Certification Program certifies and educates beer professionals in order to elevate the beer experience for consumers. Unfortunately, not every bar is staffed with certified beer servers who can guide their customers through a beer list.
Here you go, guys. Let me know what you think of the Hefeweizen.
Oh, yeah. That's definitely more of an American meat. But I can hardly tell because this beer just smells like sour butter. I wonder how long it's been since they cleaned the draft line.
Yeah, and look at the bubbles on the side of the glass. It's filthy.
Somebody should tell these guys about the Cicerone program.
For sure. How about we head somewhere else for another beer?
Your server should give beer the same respect you do. Request quality. The Cicerone Certification Program offers 4 levels of beer certification, in-person classes, and course books for beer professionals. Check them out at cicerone.org. The Cicerone Certification Program. We know beer.
You're listening to the Brewing Network. Because like beer, radio shouldn't suck.
Yeah, welcome back to the show. Thanks for hanging in there with us, listening to our sponsors. You know, they bring you the show. Couldn't do it without them. You'd have to pay me a lot of money if it weren't for them.
They pay us a lot of money.
They're saving you.
Oh, they pay us a lot of money?
Well, they should.
No, they don't.
Oh,
I'm just saying. They pay enough to keep us alive.
Yay.
And if it weren't for them, our listeners would have to pay a lot of money.
That's true.
So, on that note, go to craftbeer.com and check them out. They got a beer and food course. You know, we were just talking about that with the fruit beers and how chefs are inclined to start using these beers more and more. Well, craftbeer.com beer and food course is the groundbreaking course that leads professionals and enthusiast chefs alike through the basics of pairing beer and food. By the way, it's all free. It's built by a Culinary Institute of America graduate and a certified Cicerone. And there's two versions, actually. A professional version for chefs, restaurateurs, brewers, and hospitality professionals, and an enthusiast version for at-home chefs. So go learn how to pair beer with your favorite foods, including chocolate, charcuterie, and cheese. And you'll get to know beer styles while you're at it. And it's all free over at craftbeer.com. Check it out. All right, we're still here talking to Oregon Specialty Fruit, and I think we're going to do something kind of cool right now that Chris brought for us.
It's very cool, and I'm also going to get a dick joke in, and we're going to make our own concoctions.
I love it. Well done.
All we do are dick jokes around
Beardy
here.
touched all the straws to let you know.
Damn it, Beardy.
With my dick.
I think he licked the pink one.
Fucking old dick fingers over there.
All right. Can't cram them all into one 30-second segment.
Challenge accepted.
Dick would say.
What are we going to do here, Chris?
We're going to take 4 of our fruit purees, pure fruit purees, and you're going to make your own fruit beer. So we've got a really wonderfully made California lager from a well-established long-term California brewer.
Yeah.
And you're going to decide what kind of fruit beer you want to make. So we've got 4 different fruits to choose from. We got pure red raspberry. We've got blackberry. We've got a mango from Mexico. We've got a blood orange from Italy.
Wow. What are the chances that JP won't bitch even though he gets to make his own concoction?
None. Zero.
None chances.
You think I'm going to complain about my own work? Please. How well do you know me?
All right. So I guess what we have then is the puree in our glass, in some community glassware.
We're just going
to dump them right into our. You can go right ahead, Chris. Do it how you want.
What would be a reasonable amount to put in,
I was going to do small amounts, like with a straw.
That's a really good point.
I'm worried.
I'm just going to do a quick little dosage.
Ooh, it's thick, though. It like barely comes.
Hey, Warren, instead of hogging all the straws, why don't you pass them around so we can all have one?
I can't even reach them.
Oh,
just put on every glass.
No, he reached most of them.
Every one of the purees.
With his dick.
And I will tell you that when I talk to brewers and when they're doing their bench tops, a lot of brewers will literally sit there with their house IPA, and they'll get a sample bag from us for free that we ship samples free all over the country, all over the world for that matter.
Nice.
And the little 3-pound bags you'll get, you're able to literally make a bench top, and as you'll see right in front of your face, you're going to see these beers turn into luscious looking fruit beers.
How much should we be adding as a start? Like drops?
Literally, yeah. I mean,
don't fall for it, Chris. He's just looking for someone to blame if you tell him too much.
Can I have a fucking straw, please? I gave him the love of God.
Tasty, I gave him to you.
Thank you, Justin. You're the best.
You just had
one per glass.
A big bag of straw.
Just in one per extra.
What's this first fruit?
Just him.
Well, we have raspberry over there, and then we have blackberry. It's obvious by the color and the smell. The mango is very obvious by the color and the smell, and then the blood orange from Italy.
Okay. Now, of course, we're tasting these unfermented, but I assume that it still gives a brewer an idea of what he can expect out of the flavor, and then, of course, it will alter as the beer ferments.
Well, he or she, I would say.
Thank you. Good call.
Or it.
But
good call.
Or they.
Them, they.
But I will tell you that a lot of brewers literally will start with this, and then they'll run their little pilot system and then come up with their own recipes.
Okay.
And, you asked earlier about dosage, and the more intense fruits, like two of the ones you're tasting right now with raspberry and blackberry, those are some of our most intense fruits. I think Tasty just took a nose whiff off one of them. I mean, they smell like you just macerated a handful of raspberries.
Yeah, you can smell the fiber in the fruit. Can I get that one down there?
Yeah, I'm not done with it, though.
You know what I did is I put
I guess I'm done with it.
Put like 4 drops
like you're done.
Of the mango in the beer. Then I still had the beer I didn't doctor yet, so I had like a reference. So just a few drops make a big.
That's a really good point. Yeah, and most really well talented brewers will do that. They'll start small and then start building up.
Yeah. Okay,
and so those first intense fruits, maybe a half a pound per finished gallon of beer is our recommended dosage.
I see.
And we also recommend that brewers do it doing primary fermentation. I mean, there's a lot of folks out there who are still struggling with, well, do I do a hot side, do a cold side? The best combinations happen with day 2 or 3 of primary, and then after cold crash, some of the brewers will hold it back, 20 to 30% of the whole fruit volume, and they'll let the beer rest on the fruit for up to 3 to 7 days, depending on how much bright space they have.
Okay,
and they're not losing a bunch in aromatic.
No,
on the blow off and everything. Really,
that's why they're saving some of it. But the extraction on aroma that you'll see here, even with not fermenting the beer, is just incredible.
Well, and the hot side seems ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
It used to be because you weren't providing, maybe they couldn't get an aseptic product, right? And so they were sterilizing it like everything else.
That's
but
exactly
yours is aseptic.
Yep.
Why cook it? It changes everything.
We have turned so many brewers on to realizing that you wouldn't cook a commercially sterile product. There's absolutely no need.
Yeah.
You relax, Doc.
It's good education.
Yeah.
I'm digging this mango, dude. It tastes like mango meat, man, just right off the fucking thing, man.
It's really incredible.
I think I have more mango than beer right now, and I kind of like it.
And also, by the way, the blood orange, not bitter.
No pith.
Exactly.
No, it's really nice.
100% right. No pith.
And the grapefruit that we source.
Smell though, it's got a strong blood orange smell though.
That's because it's from blood orange.
Yeah, no, but it's just
in a good way. You're
I
saying.
haven't put that much in there.
Oh, really?
The taste is perfect,
and it comes right out.
Oh yeah, it's very aromatic.
Now the mango is interesting.
I don't know. I don't have.
I guess
this way.
I just got it, Beery. Shut up and wait.
We have 4 extracts and 3 beers. We're all right.
I'm in the middle of doing the whole thing right now. Hey, hey, Justin. Can I have that?
5 minutes ago.
Hey, you think I saw that you had it?
You can't see anything.
Right.
It was levitating.
You're 5 feet from me.
This is the first one I've dove my nose right in, and you're right, Tasty. It has a lot of the fibrous flavor, right? And I think it's worth bringing up because the aroma in the finished product is so much different. It's so much brighter. It's so much, right?
Yeah.
This one's just...
Yeah. I mean, one of the things we're seeing, too, is that brewers are figuring out ways for filtration, centrifuging. We actually do a couple versions that are depectinized. So pectin is common in every type of fruit.
Okay.
And there are various pectin levels in every type of fruit. So some brewers prefer just less pectin to deal with on the filtration side.
So it doesn't clog the beer up.
Yeah.
So fuck the pectin.
Now, I also noticed that some of the purees are thicker than others.
Thank you.
Yes, the blood orange, the grapefruits, the citrus products traditionally are a little bit thinner. Blueberry tends to be a little thinner. But anything that's stone fruits are traditionally a little thick. The berries themselves, because, you do get all the seed sort of compounds in there. And it's just pure fruit. I mean, I think I love to look at the blackberry and the raspberry after it's been poured out.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks like a smoothie, basically.
It does, yeah.
Yeah.
Looks healthy.
Yeah.
It looks like I should drink more of it.
And one of the things
Not about the thickness.
A lot of antioxidants in there.
Well, and that's one thing, unfortunately, our government won't let us, talk about the health benefits of the fruit in the beer. Yeah. But it's real.
What do you mean we're not allowed to talk about it?
Well, we can talk about it a lot here.
Marketing.
You can't actually print it.
Because hang on.
Okay.
On the alcoholic product, you can't print it? Okay,
yes,
but you could print it on your packaging before it's been fermented, right?
We could.
Okay.
We refrain from doing so just because I think it could be misleading.
Okay. Yeah,
It's not worth it.
And
Anybody
who
with a
doesn't
brain can
know?
figure it out.
Yeah, thank
Right.
you. That's what I was going to say. If you don't know, move along in life.
Do we know
Well, if
water?
you're supplying it to a food company, it wouldn't be unreasonable to have the nutrition facts.
That's a great point.
Kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right? They probably do that themselves.
And well, we provide C of A's, so we provide a complete analysis
So
for every
they're getting
single
that.
production.
You're just not printing that in
exactly.
your glossy, your sheet.
Got it.
Do we know of a beer law guy that could look into this for us?
I think it's already been looked into. It is not possible.
I think I like the fruit purees. I don't want to say over the beer, but it makes me want more fruit flavor in fruited beers now.
But do you think that's just because they're not fermented? Like you're just getting the gist of it?
Oh, maybe. Yeah,
you know
that
what I
could be
mean?
right.
Like
Yeah.
and that's what I kind of was asking. Like as a brewer, and I've always been terrible at this, like predicting what the finish flavor is going to be. I can see why a brewer would sit and do this and smell and taste the puree, put it in a beer, get an idea of what's happening. Yeah. But there are so many raw flavors in these concoctions we've made that were not in the finished products that we tasted in the last segment. Right? And so I've always had difficulty, that's why I'm not a great brewer, like difficulty, seeing ahead. So a brewer has to be able to do that because really a lot of the flavors in here are not going to be there.
What this might be along the lines of a really dumb question, but what would happen if you put this in post-fermentation?
Oh, my God.
That was just not even along the line. That's just pure dumb.
There are those
I'm the
that
Robin
do
Hood of dumb questions.
There are those that do it and do it successfully.
Really?
So, yeah.
Isn't that more common though? That they do it in the bright, or does they do it?
It is actually quite common, and ironically, it's funny to note that you're actually on the board with that.
See,
one.
there we go. All right.
Well, contrary to what your friend Justin says, I think you're an okay guy.
Well, it's easy with the F word.
Oh, wow.
So it goes into the bright, but doesn't that kick up fermentation because you're adding sugar?
It does. It can.
Okay.
You
just allow for that.
You allow for that, and it depends on the length of contact with the fruit.
And that's what I was going to add right there. That adding it post, if you're going to allow it to ferment, then that's different than adding it post and it not fermenting.
Well, and thank you very much for that, because if you turn back the clock to my story about being in Belgium, all of the brewers in Belgium in the Seine Valley actually used horizontal fermenter or horizontal bright tanks, and they would leave the fruit in contact for 6, 12, 18 months sometimes with the fruit.
Wow.
So, there you have it. I mean, this is not something new, folks. This is something that we are now rediscovering that could, last another 3 or 4 centuries.
Sure.
Is there a lot of sugar in the mango puree?
The Brix level on the mango is about 14.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty high.
Yeah.
The rest are more like 8 to 12, something like that.
Yep. Raspberries about 10. Blackberries about 10. Passion, there's a ton of fruits that we sell that really it's not about the Brix level. It's about the intensity of the black currant, for example. One of the best hidden gems in our portfolio. Super tart, super low in Brix, but man, the intensity that gives to a product is immense. And back in the day, if you had framboise, you had pêche, and you had cassis, and cassis is black currant.
So, a lot of the raspberry and blackberry sugars will ferment out. Are all the mango sugars fermentable? Will that 14 go down to near zero?
Yeah, it'll drop. Yeah.
I love that mango, man, because it's like you get some of those aromas and those flavors from, again, that might sound stupid, but the meat of the thing closer to the seed pod. Like if you ever eat a mango, you peel it and you kind of eat it, and it's the outside is juicy, maybe bruised and kind of like a little mushy, and as it gets closer, like the more tight flesh, if you know what I mean.
Younger.
Thank you. Yeah. It has it has
juicy.
This this green aromatic to it.
Yeah, it changes absolutely.
Yeah. But it's what I like about these is that it's the whole fruit. It's the whole thing. We've talked about this on other shows, like with ciders and all this kind of stuff, where you want to get a snapshot of the whole entire fruit.
Yeah,
and that's what these do.
They do.
The mango's my favorite, and I want to pour the whole glass into this. And
do it. You can pour it all into it.
You can drink it.
Excellent. You can just drink the puree right as it is.
Oh, yeah. There's several people on our staff who don't drink alcohol, and they'll just drink that for breakfast.
I love it.
Yeah. And for those who love cooking, these make amazing dressings, barbecue sauces, you name it.
I was going to ask you.
Do a raspberry vinaigrette, a raspberry balsamic.
I was going to ask you if people are using these in cocktails.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's
perfect,
that's a good
idea.
Cocktails.
Yeah.
I like
Oh, God, when I was a bartender, I would have loved that because we're back there like macerating the stuff ourselves.
Yeah.
Just go buy it from Oregon Fruit.
Well, and can you imagine having that in your refrigerator or in your dry shelf and just being able to pour it out for the next, 3 or 4 days?
Yeah.
Yeah.
can.
Well, I want to thank you very much for being on the program with us.
It's been a pleasure.
It has been educational and a pleasure for us, too. The beers are wonderful, and I'm optimistic, as you are, about the future of fruit beer. Finally.
The future's in good hands.
Finally. Well, fruit beer, really.
You were confident enough in your product to let us try to mess it up.
Right.
Even we were still enjoying it.
It's being proof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, JP did complain about his own concoction.
I did?
For the record.
I want more.
Well, that's a good thing, right?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Go to OregonFruit.com.
Thank you.
And check it all out. You can learn about everything that Oregon Specialty Fruit does, and there's a link right there at the top that says fruit for fermentation. And, of course, like we mentioned earlier, you can go to
Morebeer.com,
our
baby.
wonderful sponsor, and check it out over there. And, well, Chris, you'll have to come back as things evolve, like you said, and talk to us some more. And we'll get a good fruit sour brewer in with you next time, so we can really get both sides of it too.
Yeah.
But very educational. I appreciate it.
Pomegranate's coming out right after Thanksgiving. Just as a little plug for the next season.
Yeah.
So be aware.
I think we should
Please make a pomegranate beer. I love pomegranate.
I'll make whatever you want.
Not
You're looking
you.
at me.
November 26th.
Because you're looking at me.
November
Okay,
26th.
you. It'd be great.
Have you guys done a
November
beer?
26th.
It went into the fermenter, and when the fruit's there, then your beer will be ready to
Well,
come
guys,
I think we should go up there.
I think I heard Chris say we get to keep all of the purees.
All the purees that I've left for you. Yep.
So if anyone's brewing in the next week or so, let's
Use them or lose them.
Fucking brew tomorrow.
brew.
I got
Take
an
some.
IPA. I got blood orange right now.
You don't even homebrew anymore. Don't lie to everybody.
I'm making
Well, I have-
more,
I
I'm
do have
making
a beer.
more
I
than
did-
all of you
I
combined
did
on
homebrew
Thursday. So
Actually, quick question, since we're talking about this. So now we've opened the packaging, which has a twist on, even though we said it's a Mylar bag. Pop off top. Now that we've opened it, when we put it back, what's the shelf life now?
We can't guarantee commercial sterility once it's been open.
Okay.
However,
for homebrewers,
we know homebrewers can leave it open for 7-10 days in the
So I can
fridge.
put that in the
no
fridge,
problem.
and then I
Absolutely.
can make a...
What if, like, Beardy licked it?
Dibs on mango.
It depends
Just
on
saying
who.
that right
Okay.
now.
I
There we
got
go.
the blood orange.
Nice. There we go. So we might get a couple homebrews out of this, guys?
What can I make with a mango?
Anything.
But like mango Vienna lager doesn't sound good.
Mango Kolsch.
Mango Weiss. Mango Berliner Weiss.
Ooh, wait, mango
that
Weiss.
sounds good, actually.
All right, I'll learn how to do that.
Type it into your machine. The wonderful
Just punch the robot in the nuts and it'll come out.
the wonderful Pico Brew machine and tell it it'll do it. All right. Hey, thank you
Justin,
again.
thank you very much.
I
Thanks,
appreciate
everybody.
it. Chris Hodge from Oregon Specialty Fruit. And we're going to come back with Gary Glass from the American Homebrewers Association. And we're going to talk a little bit about the recent homebrew survey. We're going to learn about numbers and things.
I love numbers and things.
I know you do.
But no stuff.
Hang in there. It's The Session, and we'll be back right after these words.
You're listening to the Brewcasters.
On the Brewing Network.
Since 1979, Williams Brewing has offered the finest equipment and freshest ingredients and the best customer service in the business. Check out their brand new patent-pending mash and boil 110-volt electric mashing and boiling unit. This compact all-stainless unit lets you mash, sparge, and boil just about anywhere that has a 110-volt plug. Double-wall construction adds to efficiency and safety, and a precise thermostat keeps temperatures where you want them. Unlike insulated buckets and converted coolers, multiple temperature rest mashing is easy to do, all for under $300. They also feature the Mark II work pump, a magnetic drive high temperature pump that does the work of pumps that cost twice as much, as well as exclusive Brewer's Edge regulators and quality Keg King kegs and disconnects. Check them out today at williamsbrewing.com to brews their vast selection. With over 20 years of experience making world-class craft beer and more than 100 gold medals in international competitions, Moylan's Brewing Company is not just a pretty face in craft beer. Just ask Brendan Moylan.
What do we got here? The beer of the hour. Moylan's, gotta love that big M. It's like a sign of awesomeness. Woo-hoo! It's got an extra kick to it. Let's pour this bad boy. Oh, yeah. Oh, Moylan's. The end of the night when the kids are finally in bed, the wife's in bed, nobody's bothering your ass anymore. That's Moylan's time. Moylan's is for you. Yeah. It's to help you out.
Yeah.
It helps me out.
What?
Well, because it's freaking awesome. Northern California brewed. It's brewed with love.
With love?
Oh, yeah. Tremendous. And it's always best where?
Moylan's.
You gotta try it. On tap at Moylan's in Novato. They're friggin' awesome. Not only because I own the brewery, because I love the beer.
Cheers!
Boom.
Kilt Lifter Scotch Ale takes big beers to a whole new level with rich malt balanced perfectly with delicate hops, and now comes in 4-pack tall boy cans so you can take the party on the go. Or come to the brewery, take a tour, and try any of Moylan's fresh creations right from the source. Check them out at moylans.com.
Hey there, BN Army. Have you heard the latest at Hop Tech? Since Hop Tech has doubled in size after a huge expansion, Jade and Roberto can stock even more of the best quality homebrewing supplies and equipment. Over 60 kick-ass varieties of hops and malts, monster truckloads of quality brewer's yeast, including White Labs, Y-yeast, and multiple dry yeasts. They even have all grain systems from Grain Fathers and Ruby Street Brew Systems, thanks to Jade, the brand new all-grain brewer. And don't forget about their 10% discount to all BN Army members. Jade and Roberto are waiting for you and all of your brewing questions over at hoptech.com. Hoptech, totally not sucking since 1983.
Hey, my brewing brothers and sisters. This is Jamel Zainashev, and I want to tell you about Heretic Evil Twin. You might be familiar with my homebrew recipe, which uses massive late hopping to create a balance between the malty sweet and the hoppy bitter, along with an outrageous malt and hop character. I wanted a beer with the same bold hop and malt character, so we played around with the homebrew recipe until we were able to make a great commercial version too. We've created a beer rich in malt character, full of caramel, toast, biscuit, and an ever so subtle roast note. On top of that, we piled in an insane amount of Citra and Columbus hops at the end of the boil, as well as in dry hopping. This damn-the-cost approach to hopping gives Heretic's Evil Twin a great blast of citrus and tropical fruit that can't be matched by any other hop. The result is a bold, malty, hoppy, but easy-drinking beer. This is our top seller, our flagship beer, and I couldn't be prouder of it. Cheers.
To find Heretic beers near you, click on Find Some at hereticbrewing.com.
All right. Welcome back to the show. Thanks for hanging out with us.
You're welcome.
Thanks to Oregon Specialty Fruit for being on the show. You can go to OregonFruit.com and check it all out.
I'm drinking the puree. I mixed the mango with the raspberry, and it's delicious.
It looks like a smoothie. It looks good.
You should try some. The flavors work really well together. And
I don't want to try any. I feel like I'll get pregnant. You're very fertile right now.
I'm not. It took us like a year, so it's a lot of fucking.
Well,
put JP's seed in your mouth.
All right, everybody. Hey, we got Gary Glass on the program with us.
Right. Speaking of dick jokes,
you guys' timing is the worst. I feel like it gets worse as the years go on. I'm serious. It used to be bad, and now it's always the. Gary, how you doing, buddy?
After that interview, I'm not doing quite as well.
Gary's like, I gotta go, actually.
How do we get out of this?
It's late. I'm tired. Gary Glass, of course, from the American Homebrewers Association on the program with us tonight. How have things been for you, Gary?
Great.
Yeah?
Still loving my job.
Good. You know I'm your neighbor now there in Colorado.
Did you move to Colorado?
No, I'm there like some of the time, I guess. And I'm barely even your neighbor. I'm in like the next town over. But, Gary actually came to our grand opening there at the Hop Grenade.
Oh, nice.
And supported.
I did.
That's cool.
Yeah, I'm not quite a Coloradan yet. I still complain too much about the weather to be a Coloradan, so. But
you'll get used to it.
I guess so. That's what I'm told.
Are you a 14er, Gary?
Oh, yeah. Gary, how many 14ers have you done?
Bro. Do I have to have climbed them, or can I drive to the top of them?
Good question. We just learned tonight from a listener that some of them can be driven. So I will allow you to count the driving ones as well.
2.
Attaboy.
It's not even like a double-digit number, but
It's like, well, 7, and
including this one.
I think my father-in-law has climbed over half of the ones in Colorado.
Wow. That's amazing. See, Gary to me comes off as an outdoorsy guy, actually, but he's a poser. You really?
I like to hike. I like to fish. I just mountain climbing.
Why go up a mountain for no
the
reason?
altitude sucks.
Priority for me.
That makes sense.
There are smaller mountains than 14ers that you can climb
or drive.
Oh, why bother?
Some of the many peaks in Colorado.
Okay, there you go. All right. Well, I want to talk about a couple things with Gary today, and one is the homebrew survey that they just did. But real quick, before we get to that, because I have a feeling we might go on a little bit and get in depth on that. Gary, how is my beloved governing committee doing since I've left?
Well, it's not quite the same since you left.
Thank you. And I'm sure he means it.
One less person procrastinating.
But we do have a governing committee election coming up next year, and we have 5 of the 15 slots that are up for election. And at least 3 of those slots are uncontested. We've got people who are term limited or just unable to run again. So we are definitely looking for qualified candidates for running for the governing committee.
Okay. So you need at least 3 more people to run.
At least, yes. Hopefully, we get a few more than that.
I agree, because obviously they're just then like guaranteed. So, JP, if you want to run while there's still only,
I thought about it, but I don't want to be too good at it, and then I would do the whole committee's job, like everybody's job.
Yeah,
and I can't have that, so I'm just going to back off.
We could be on the board together. It sounds like.
Are you running?
Well, no, but now I heard that there are 3 slots.
Let's run. I'll go with you if you do my work.
Okay.
All right.
Well, actually, here's what we want, Gary. Let me help you out here. I had a wonderful time on the governing committee, and it was one of the most educational experiences I've had about my industry, too. So if you're into homebrewing, even if you're into craft beer, mostly homebrewing, I would recommend going for it. You not only get to learn a lot, and you're surrounded by a board of your peers, but you actually get to have some input in what your membership receives from the Homebrewers Association.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, as crass or as much as I can say I don't care, I found it really valuable to be able to do that.
Your experiences were always super positive. You were actually really juiced about it, and it was kind of nice to see you pumped about something again. And I mean, it sounds like a joke, but honestly, like it was like a fresh injection for you as like a new direction for your passion, and I thought that was pretty cool.
Especially every time after the annual meeting, I would come out of there, really kind of. I would go in hungover, but I would come out fired up.
And hungover.
Well, because you puked during the middle of it.
I really would come out fired up because, and Gary, I don't think you'll mind me saying this. I even watched the AHA itself and the committee really grow over the years that I was there, and I found it I was really surprised at the amount of things that we were tackling, changes that the Homebrewers Association was making by the end of my term. I just was more fired up than ever every time. So, Gary, how do people try to become elected?
So on our website, homebrewersassociation.org, under the membership drop-down, there's a governing committee page that you can select, and then on there is a button for submitting a nomination. So you can either nominate themselves or they can nominate somebody else. We do ask if you're going to nominate somebody else, let them know you're nominating them before you do so.
Surprise!
Good call.
And you do need to be a member of the American Homebrewers Association in order to run for the governing committee.
Sure, which you should be anyway.
Yeah,
you can't run Wildcat.
Yeah, there's no independent. You can't run independent.
We can start our own association.
What does being on the board involve in terms of like?
So I'm not running.
What do you do?
Too much for you.
So governing committee members participate in. We do a monthly conference call on Tuesday, the second Tuesday of the month. and then also participate in the in-person meeting that takes place the Wednesday before HomebrewCon. And then members serve on various subcommittees that get more focused on specific areas. We have like a competition committee. We've got a content committee that helps us select speakers for HomebrewCon and content for Zymergy Magazine. We have a new, actually just split our diversity and international subcommittees into 2 different subcommittees. So,
oh, nice.
Yeah, and so a lot of the work that happens on that subcommittee level. But as you said, Justin, I think people probably don't quite have an understanding of what goes on with the governing committee, but the association really wouldn't be what it is without the contributions of those committee members. So that combined knowledge and geographical references that we get from the governing committee, our staff is completely dedicated to what the direction that the governing committee points us to go in.
Yeah, and that's what maybe you're really actually putting a fine point on what I was trying to say, is that by the end, because the AHA itself has grown, thanks to all of you wonderful members and new members signing up, the AHA has been able to expand and create new positions. And so, it really felt like the things that we were saying on the governing committee, not just felt like, I saw it happen, went and happened. Right afterward, they were able to take the direction, go to the existing staff and even some of the new positions that were created during my tenure. And, man, we'd come back the next year, or even we'd come back in the next couple of phone calls, and Gary would be like, well, so we got the newsletter going, and we got this new organization, and it was really impressive to see. So, like Gary says, your voice matters. It's very helpful to them. And look, why not? It's your organization anyway. It belongs to you. You're the membership. So go to homebrewersassociation.org, and what is it? You can just click under membership, right, Gary?
Right, under membership and then governing committee.
Okay. And then a reminder, you can recommend either yourselves or nominate yourselves or somebody else, but do let somebody else know that you're doing that. Because what happens, they get a call from me, and I'm like, hey, do you want to be on the show? You're now a nominee.
Let's nominate Bev.
It gets weird. Yeah. I don't know. Bev can't.
Please don't.
Bev can't
I think
handle
that'd be
it.
great.
Bev can't handle it.
Why not?
Let's nominate Sam then.
And by that I mean they can't handle Bev.
God.
Now Sam, Sam would pump new life into that.
Literally.
Rude.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not enough guitars.
All right. Now we got more to talk about with Gary also, and that is the homebrew survey. So tell us a little bit about what this is, Gary.
Yeah. So this is a follow-up to a survey we did in 2013. So 4 years ago, we did this kind of what we call general homebrewer survey, which collected demographic information and information about homebrewer practices. And so we had over 10,000 homebrewers respond to the survey from all over the country and actually all over the world. 8% of the respondents were from outside the United States.
Wow.
And it's these surveys that really allow the American Homebrewers Association to provide data on what's going on within homebrewing. We can provide stats to homebrew retailers so that they can better run their businesses. We provide those stats to the media so that they can understand what's going on with homebrewing, and we can promote the hobby. So that's kind of why we do it. And then obviously get some very interesting content out of it.
Sure. Yeah, I remember reading the last one I was talking about at the beginning of the show. Was proud to find the Brewing Network show up in several questions, about where people are getting content and education and things like that.
Once in a while.
I don't want to know, Gary, if we've fallen down the list. Okay, can you omit that information from this report, please?
Yeah, I won't bring that up.
Thank you.
Don't ever mention Denny and Drew in anything we say tonight.
Yeah, that's right.
You could say, and number one on the list shall not be mentioned.
Right.
So we would know.
Because it's a lewd name.
But Drew Beecham is actually one of those people who's ineligible to run again because he's won 3 straight.
He's termed out. Oh, yeah.
Well, I'd like to take his seat, man.
He's got to take a year off. Denny turned out earlier and then came back.
I see.
Well, Denny's older.
Well, you know what bothers me about that? That means I got to hang out and talk to Drew more because he won't be in the meeting.
Ouch.
All right.
You know what? You'll be in Portland.
I am excited about that. Yeah.
Yeah. That
Gary.
means you'll be too hungover for the meeting.
Oh, no, he'll be in strip clubs.
Just quickly, can we get excited about NHC being, HomebrewCon being HomebrewCon being in Portland this year?
You were in that meeting where we decided that we were going to call it HomebrewCon.
I know, I was, and as you know about me, I keep screwing it up. I do. It takes me years to break an old habit.
I love the new term.
Yeah, I like it too.
National Homebrew Competition or National Homebrewers Conference. It's not exactly roll off the tongue.
Yeah, agreed. HomebrewCon's easy. By the way, the web address is easier now. It's all kinds of.
I'm pretty stoked this is going to be in Portland.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
I got friends there that just embrace this whole thing, and
it'll be fun.
It'll be
there you go.
A mess of fun.
So, give us the overview, the finer points of what's happening in the homebrew world based on the survey, Gary.
Okay, so one of the things that we can do with this survey, and actually a combination of data, because we also survey retailers or homebrew supply shops. So we use the survey to come up with a figure for the total number of homebrewers. It's a difficult one to come up with. We have to look at various different ways of calculating it. But through the survey, we came up with a number of 1.1 million homebrewers in the United States.
Wow, really?
So,
I always assumed 1.2. You think that's down from 1.2 or something like that?
Well, we use a different method for calculating it
so you could get
this time around. I think this is actually a more accurate number.
Do you think the number's up or down?
Well, I think the number is up from where it was in 2013.
Okay, cool.
We came out with the 1.2 million number. Mm-hmm. That was based on calculations with the best statistics we had at the time.
Yeah.
I think what we've got now is a little bit more solid.
It's more accurate.
If we use the same method we used this time, it would have had a smaller number, but it would have been based on less reliable statistics. But overall, I think that we probably had fewer homebrewers back in 2013, but that 1.1 million number is probably slightly down from a peak that I would guess probably happened around 2015 or so.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a great number to know, because I find myself in conversations all the time where I want to tell so many people how many home brewers there are.
Yeah.
Like if you know two of them, it's random people who know two home brewers.
Sure.
Then it's kind of unique that they
say
do.
two.
That's a lot of people. 1.1 million.
It's a lot of people, and it's still like around 200, 250, or 1 in 200 to 250 people
adults
in the country.
Adults.
So it's a sizable portion. Yeah, adults.
Are we talking worldwide?
A sizable portion of the population.
And is that U.S. homebrewers or worldwide homebrewers, Gary?
Oh, that's U.S.
U.S.
I have
okay.
no idea.
Because there's other people out there.
Yeah, but American Homebrewers Association only, so they dialed it in.
That's pretty significant.
Yeah.
Good to know.
What else you got, Gary?
So those 1.1 million homebrewers are making, on average over the course of a year, about 1.4 million barrels of beer.
Wow.
Barrel being 31 gallons. That would be a combined total that would put the homebrewers in this country right between Sam Adams and Sierra Nevada.
That's cool.
Nice.
I like that statistic.
I think we should get together and buy somebody out.
Yeah, that's a nice PR statistic there,
definitely.
Gary. Let's be honest. I like that one.
Yeah, I think so, and it's quite impressive. Like, that's a lot of beer.
A list, top brewers in the country.
Yeah,
1, 2, 3, homebrewers.
Sam Adams, homebrewers, Sierra Nevada. I like it.
That's very interesting. Great.
40% of homebrewers have started homebrewing within the last 4 years.
Sure.
Oh, that's really good news. Wait, did you say
a lot of people getting into it just very recently?
40%?
40%, yeah.
Wow. Now, can we be frank here? the rumor going around has been that home brewing is on the decline, but that number there kind of refutes that, doesn't it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So I do think that as I did mention, it probably did peak at slightly above 1.1 million. So we've probably seen a very slight decline.
Okay.
And when we get into geographic stuff, that becomes pretty interesting too.
Yeah.
But I do think that it's still quite vibrant, and people are still absolutely getting into the hobby. We have seen a slight drop in the amount of beer per batch that people are brewing. So people are brewing in smaller batch sizes.
Okay.
Which is not terribly surprising. I mean, the 1 gallon batch kits that have become available are a fairly recent phenomenon, and it's just a whole lot easier to brew in smaller batches. I think one of the things we're looking at is that time has become more of a constraint on people than it has been in probably 4 years ago when we were in the midst of a recession.
Well, a decline in 10-gallon brewers would offset that, would drive that number down. That may be probably way more is happening than it would just be like that's dropping off quite a bit.
Sure.
Yeah, we're definitely seeing a decline in those larger volume sizes, but even just the 5 gallon sizes are dropping, and the smaller batches are increasing.
Geographically,
go ahead.
Geographically, what's the hot spot as far as home brewing?
The largest region by participation in the hobby is the South.
The South,
which is really surprising. Yeah, it was surprising to me. We had 31% of our respondents were from the South. The West was the smallest, with 19%.
Wow. This is all of these things are really good news for me right now. I'm going to tell you why. If 40% are new brewers, right? That's in the last 4 years. That's 400,000 people that the BN has yet to offend. So that's a lot of that's a lot of new listeners.
A lot of open
now,
territory.
on top of that, if the South is the hotbed of new brewers, I feel like the South gets us. Like they understand our ridiculousness here. And so I think
true.
I'm feeling like we've got a lot of room to grow here.
Potential.
When was the last time you heard from Sugar Valley, though?
Well, he's let's
like
face it,
Northern
he probably had a heart attack.
Oh,
anyway.
was he northern?
I think so.
Okay.
I think he's like in the Jackson Whites area.
To me, one of the reasons to homebrew is you can make beer you can't buy.
Yeah.
So I can see as a percentage out here, we can buy a lot of freaking good beer.
Right.
So we tend to sure, we might homebrew a little, but we don't homebrew that much because we could go out, we could get this great beer. In the South, that may not necessarily be the case.
And Gary, I wonder what you think.
I think you're exactly right there. That I definitely see where the largest percentage of homebrewers are. It's where the smallest percentage of craft breweries are.
Right.
I don't know. Tell Asheville, North Carolina.
There's
tons
islands
of them out there.
There's islands, believe me. But I'm just out here. Out here, there are no islands.
But not only is I think the evidence or the statistics seem to be pointing toward that. But Gary, Is it a concern, for the AHA or for homebrew in general that and we all love it, as craft beer grows, right? We get more breweries, more local fresh beer, that by effect, homebrewing declines? Because we can, go ahead.
That's a concern, I would say, and I think that it has contributed to the slight decline that we've seen. But I think we're kind of stabilizing at this point.
Yeah.
Because at the same time that there is all this craft beer available, and that's potentially a reason to not brew as frequently. You have to be into craft beer in order to get into homebrewing.
Agreed.
So the more people are introduced to local breweries, the more likely that they are to take up the hobby.
Yeah.
So, and as you said, with that 40% starting within the last 4 years. Obviously, there's a huge number of breweries that have come on board in those last 4 years. So it's still
the cycle.
We're still seeing people getting into the hobby, even though they don't need to do it to drink flavorful beer.
Right. And I'm going to say this at the risk of sounding like an idiot, like normal, but with all the buyouts happening, the cycle could go the other way, right? Like, so right now, so Gary's right. You got to be into craft beer to start homebrewing, so it pushes homebrewing. But then the more great local craft beer, maybe homebrewing declines a little bit. Well, now as independent, maybe as that starts to disappear, I think you go right back to homebrewing. You brew your own beer again. So Homebrewers Association is in this, or homebrewing in general, is in this odd middle spot between all of the things that are happening.
Well, and even on the commercial side, they're in the business of selling beer. And so they're going to jump on the bandwagon of styles that are trendy. And so what if a consumer wants to try something else than what they find on 90% of their shelves?
Yeah.
They have to make it themselves, which is
true.
The situation I was in. And so that's what I was wondering, if the AHA collects information as to what typical styles are being brewed.
Yeah, good question.
If that's different than what's trending in craft.
Amongst homebrewers? Well, one way we can do that is look at our national homebrew competition entries, and you're spot on. Like where our number one categories are kind of the specialty categories.
Oh, nice.
For beers that don't fit into any of the usual categories. I mean, obviously IPAs is a big one, but not as big as the specialty categories.
Right.
Interesting.
Gary, as you might expect, I get to know a lot of people that start out homebrewing young, and I watch them get older and get, I've been watching people for 15, 20 years. It's a lot about how the time and place to make beer. I know people that are really young, trying to do it in an apartment. Then they get in a house, and then they're brewing like crazy. But then the kids come. Then there's sports. So to me, it's like age group. I'm sure this is the data that you have in terms of like what age groups are brewing most of the homebrew in the country.
Well, our average age is 42.
Yeah,
the largest, age group would be the 30 to 40-year-olds. The fastest growing segment right now is those 60 and older.
Yeah.
Really?
Retired.
Yeah, really. Yeah, you think about it, like we've got this huge baby boomer population that's all retiring, and so they're either taking backup homebrewing or starting homebrewing for the first time because all of a sudden they find all this time on their hands.
Sure. Right.
Damn boomers.
And then what do they like? They've probably been doing it as a hobby for a good amount of time, but they're doing more of it. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll start brewing again when I'm 60. Let's see.
How would you start when you're 42 and you're in that little middle group?
when I'm still in the popular group.
Well, homebrewing's about having the right enough time and the right place to do it.
Right.
Which is typically like you're well established and you don't have kids. You got to take the little
kids
league and all
aren't
that
4.
stuff.
Yeah, agreed.
Or
Okay.
you don't have kids and you're 42.
Well, I think one of the things that's going to be interesting for the future is that we've got all these new devices like the Grainfathers and the Zymatics that have come around that make it so that you're buying one piece of equipment and it kind of does a lot of that work for you.
Yeah.
Does that open up a whole new demographic of people to the hobby? Does it make it more appealing for people who are like, I don't really have the time, but hey, with this thing I push a button and it does it.
Right.
Yeah. Well, just think about
I know it does.
Just about the old entry point is $169 kit or something like that. Now another entry point is the $1,500 robo thing that'll make beer for you.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, that wasn't there a long time ago.
Sure. I don't know that you'll see the results of that till your next survey, Gary. Yeah. But I think it's a great point.
Right. Yeah. Well, we did ask on the questions on what equipment you're using, and the largest number are brewing on a store-bought kind of traditional system, and then a very large second group is people who've created their own. Those new brewing systems are definitely on there, but I would anticipate that that's going to grow as a portion of what people are using to brew with.
Sure.
And then the price point of those things are going to come down as they become more popular.
There's so many choices too, so through competition they might come down.
So is it too early to tell, or is there some indication that the level of automation amongst the average home brewer is going up yet or not?
Well, we didn't have that in the survey we did 4 years ago, so we just have the stats on that from this year. But it's still pretty small, like around 7% or so that are brewing on those kind of mechanical things like a Grainfather or a Zymatic.
Got it. All right, Gary. Well, you got to tell me, did
Here it comes. Here's the thing we said not to do.
Yeah.
Here it comes.
Begging for it.
Did Drew and Denny show up above us anywhere on the survey? Oh, silence.
This is
man.
gonna hurt.
No, he's checking.
He's checking with his lawyer.
He's fact checking.
Yeah, he's fact checking.
We don't.
Well, actually, I can't really give you an accurate answer to that because their podcast didn't exist 4 years ago, so I can't give you a before and after.
Right.
Oh, so we're safe.
That's true. You
for 4 years.
you can't give me, but you can give me an after. I mean, you know. Are you sitting with Denny right now? Is that the problem?
Yeah. All right, I can tell you that the Brewing Network actually did outperform experimental brewing.
Okay. All right. There we go. By the way, this just in, Denny, elderly Denny has moved in with Gary. Gary's taking care of him. So
The being outperformed that other podcast in unsubscribes.
Yeah, that's what we're trending in right now is unsubscribes. I love you, Denny and Drew. I really do.
I hate your guts.
Gary Glass, thanks for being on the show. Unless there's anything else, you just got to let us know about the industry.
Yeah. Well, I gotta put in a plug for the AHA, right?
Of course.
And in doing so, I'll do it for the Brewing Network and make you some money.
Thank you.
On the Brewing Network homepage, there's a list of supporters. We're one of those, the American Homebrewers Association. If you click that link, it will take you to homebrewersassociation.org. If you then join, you will be supporting the Brewing Network. If you do that before November 19th, that's this Sunday, and you use an offer code that goes along with our Thanks Giveaway Spectacular, where you could possibly win a Pico Brew Dymatic, one of two brew jackets, or one of 10 Betty coasters, which is probably the coolest thing of these things. I don't know if you've ever seen
What is
one of
that?
these.
No. A Betty coaster?
You put a canner. It's like a koozie, but it's a vacuum sealed stainless steel thing.
Oh, sweet.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Okay, so the offer code is TGS17, as in Thanks Giveaway Spectacular 2017.
TGS 2017. Got it.
Use that offer code. You get entered into a chance to win those fabulous prizes, and you're supporting the Brewing Network, and you're supporting our nonprofit, not-for-profit organization, the American Homebrewers Association.
Nice. That's right. Then you get to go see us all at HomebrewCon in Portland this year, and a million other benefits.
Are we eligible for that?
You're already a member.
But
you can renew. You can be 2 years.
You can renew.
Yeah, good.
You can renew your membership and support the Brewing Network and get a chance to win those things.
Nice.
You could add on. You don't have to be expired. You can just add on.
None of you are on the governing committee at the moment, and none of you are on the
Where's that coming from?
I'm a member, though.
As far as you know.
Beardy's not just a member.
Oh, yeah. Need to be governing.
All right, Gary. Thank you so much for being on the program and
thanks,
for
Gary.
all that you do over there. I hope to see you in Colorado soon.
Yeah. Let me know when you're coming back out. I love getting up to
Portland.
I'll be there Friday. We're doing a show with Peter Bucart this Friday. You're doing a live show right from the Grenade there in Fort Collins.
Yeah.
So
my daughter's birthday party is on Sunday, and my parents are coming into town on Saturday. So
you got a busy weekend.
Sorry, dude.
I'll be back.
Friday was available.
Friday's available, man.
I say gone party Friday.
Hopefully you have a lot of homebrew.
He knows I'll hurt him. I'll be back, Gary.
I do. You need a hotel room.
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I look forward to seeing you, and I'm starting the plans for our BNA party at the HomebrewCon.
Coming back.
Yeah,
Right.
it's coming back. How can we not? It's Portland, guys. We're gonna rock it. So
Lucky 13.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to find a nice strip club.
Well, it's going to be amazing.
It will. All right, Gary. Thanks, buddy.
Hey, thank you.
Take care.
Bye, Gary.
Good night.
Our friend Gary Glass, Homebrewers Association. Of course, you can go to homebrewersassociation.org. Check out all the info. And like Gary said, just sign up through our website. You can get entered to win that Pico brew. That's pretty cool.
It's a good website. It's got a
What's wrong
lot
with
of
that?
lot of what's going on.
Yeah. All right. Man, we're almost done here.
Hey.
Don't forget that you can go to Brewers Publications and get the new Session Beers book. Low-alcohol session beers are taking the craft beer movement by storm. And if you're interested in honing in your session beer brewing skills, there's a brand new book from Brewers Publications that'll be a great addition to your brewing library. Session Beers, Brewing for Flavor and Balance. It's written by World Beer Cup and Great American Beer Festival award-winning brewer Jennifer Talley, who, by the way, you can listen to on an interview over on Brew Strong.
Oh.
Yeah, the guys interviewed Jennifer about that. So go check it out. You could do that. And also, Thanksgiving is on its way, and there's no time like this very moment to craft your very own custom labels for those bottles of homebrewed beer, wine, cider, mead, or whatever it is that you do there in the garage. Grog Tag. Grog tags are reusable, customizable, and printed on high-quality vinyl so they won't come off in the ice chest. Which, by the way, when I met these guys, I didn't believe that. I thought it was such a crock of shit.
Oh, yeah.
I really was like, there's no way that these things... You get advertised like this all the time.
Sure, where it's like, well, what do you mean by ice chest, right? And so that's how you can get lost in the fine print. Well, that's not an ice chest, but it's ice water.
They also fixed all the crap I hated about labeling your homebrew. It's like, you label it?
Yeah.
No, because of this, and this. And
it was a pain in the ass.
And they claim to have fixed it all.
And I'm being honest here. I genuinely thought they were full of shit. And it wasn't until I went, I don't know where I went, or they sent them or something, and we had them all in the ice chest. And the grog tags actually work. They do not come off the bottle. They
don't.
In the ice chest. So they're printed on high-quality vinyl, so they won't come off the bottle. But the best part right now is that you can save 10% on your order by using the code BNARMY, BNARMY. Use it at checkout over at grogtag.com. That's BNARMY at grogtag.com, and support them. A small business like us who have been supporting us for quite a long time, and their product is killer. So hope they get it out to 1.1 million homebrewers.
That would be ideal. That's for sure.
Homebrew competitions would be better. Picnics and barbecues would be better without all the paper in the... Yeah, that's the whole thing.
It's time for Christmas.
Yeah, that's right. Good. Or Thanksgiving, Christmas, and all of the holidays.
It's the holiday.
Black Friday. They're already getting Christmas orders for labels. I mean, a lot of people are buying their labels first and then homebrewing their beer, which is kind of cool.
I like that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
What's better than the other?
All right, what's our Twitter game and Twitter game results, Mr. JP?
Well, our Twitter game was we're going to launch a streaming video movie site, and what kind of videos would we show?
Oh, that's right.
All of them?
Crack that beer?
I'm thirsty.
Right.
I'm going to pee really bad.
I have to pee so bad.
First thing he grabbed it to see if it was cold
pee
enough.
in the glass and drink out of the can.
He grabbed it to see if it was cold enough.
Sometimes I love tasty style, man. Pee in the glass, drink out of the can. All right, so what did we get?
Well, we got 3 very funny responses. My internet died
and
in the middle, so I think it limited everything, but I got it down to 3. Jacob wrote in and said, in Chechnya, there is no streaming, only stream.
Okay.
And that actually made me laugh out loud during Chris's interview.
All right.
Oh, shit, I didn't get this guy's full name. Anyway, some dude said a live Truman Show-like experience recording Beardy's life, except instead of orchestrating real life with actors, they just keep the cameras 5+ feet away so he can't see them.
Okay.
That could be happening right now. I wouldn't know.
Right.
Well, it is.
Oh.
Yeah. And then Jesse says a yearly Burning Man documentary where Justin gets closer and closer to just ending it all and winning the death pool by running into the fire.
I like it.
So those are the 3. Them's the choices, Bray.
I vote for the last one.
Yeah, okay.
Let's think.
That's how you're going to go out? You're going to run into the fucking fire?
No, I just think that's that would be the most entertaining television that we could put out.
I think so, too.
All. That was the Twitter game. The Twitter game was not how is Justin going to die, which, by the way, would be a great Twitter game. This is about what sort of content we're going to put out.
That's true.
Yeah. I have friends that will tackle you before you hit the fire.
Yeah, I don't know.
I get layers of friends all the way to the fire.
I'm a wily little fuck when I want to be.
Yeah. He's stringy.
That's right. I don't know. That's my vote. Anybody else have a vote?
I'm with you.
All right.
Sure, let's do it.
Let's watch me die in a fire.
There we go.
That's our win. Bevo's not. She's yawning over there. She's not even.
She's thoroughly bored with it.
She's not even excited about me dying in a fire. That's exciting stuff.
I used her all up this weekend.
Come on, it's
Honestly,
Monday
it
night.
probably
Things
just-
should be excited.
It would just make more work for me.
I mean, I
that's true.
Maybe if I saw my life on camera, I would actually be able to see it. So I was kind of hoping that would.
Right. You're excited about. Well, you need to just walk around with virtual reality goggles on, with cameras of the world in front of you. They're actually reality goggles.
Right, exactly right.
For
This
you.
is reality, guys.
Yeah, you're like, holy shit, it sucks here.
Well, but your show is going to be shot in like super low def.
What's it? Super 8? Yeah.
Hey, I'm touching you and I can see it.
So it's not going to help me then.
No.
It's actually being shot in Braille.
Oh, that's ouchy.
Hey, Adam and Eve is going to help you spice things up in the bedroom. Backing up that promise with a deal. Go to adamandeve.com and you'll get 50% off just about any item. Use coupon code BNARMY at checkout. You're going to get the free Big O kit. Adam and Eve's Big O kit has exclusive Climax gel and a mini vibrator. And also you get... what else? 50% off something, one item, free shipping, the Big O kit, all kinds of stuff. Use coupon code BNARMY over at adamandeve.com. And they have cool stuff over there. I was looking at it the other day.
I get a lot of emails from them now.
You get because you ordered something? Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Shut up,
Yeah,
Justin.
Hey, it's worth it. They got cool stuff. Go to adamandeve.com. Use coupon code BNARMY.
I think he's monitoring their Q&A.
It could be.
Hey, you know, I smile every
Got some
time I
tips,
get an
don't you?
email from them.
All right, I think we're done here, yeah?
Yeah.
All right, thanks to Oregon Specialty Fruit and Chris for coming on the program. I appreciate that. Next week, we got Street Side Brewing Company on the show.
I won't be here.
Okay, I'll be here. I get a full November with you guys. I know you're excited.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
How about I'll call in?
I'll be back. You can call in. We might answer.
I'll be far away.
Maybe.
All right, Jip, are we done?
Yeah, we're done.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm sure.
How sure?
Yeah, make sure long enough because I got to find your song.
Full bladder, sure.
Can I leave
exactly.
and pee while you do it?
You know, it must have been
No,
that
you have to
fruit.
fucking stay.
At Disneyland, a mariachi band sang JP's song, but like the real song, and I was like, wow, I know this.
Oh, I was like, what? That's
my song.
amazing.
No.
That's the
Like
real
the real
one.
version.
They're all listeners. Okay, this is
The
a
mariachi
I
just
know.
did not sing JP's an asshole.
That would have been amazing.
That would have been
That would have
amazing.
been even better.
That, you know what? We're now okay. Now we're gonna have to hire a mariachi band for one of our anniversary parties,
Oh.
just for that.
My God,
do.
that'd be great.
If only we had an anniversary party coming up.
We do. It's perfect.
Okay, how about we do it during our Spring Brews Fest?
No,
Right
because
here.
those aren't all BN
Yeah,
people.
it needs to be
It needs to be
more-
BN
Inside
people.
thing.
Yeah.
I think Doc would even pay for it, too.
yeah, Doc's like ready.
I'll pay for it multiple times.
Right, yeah. All parties.
He's gonna go home and learn to play it tonight.
No, he's
Oh,
not.
yeah.
He says, I just bought this classical guitar for this.
I want to play that big bass
big bass
guitar. That
The giant one.
Yeah, that giant guitar.
So a normal guitar for Doc.
A ukulele. That's what he's going to learn.
I have that.
Let's go. Take us out, JP. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Chris Hodge from Oregon Specialty Fruit drove, flew, and walked to us all the way from Oregon to get us learned on fruit in its various forms. Hit them up at OregonFruit.com. But first, thank you to our show sponsor, More Beer. You can get absolutely everything you need to make great beer at home by going to morebeer.com. Did you know that? Good. Merge your love of Disneyland with your lack of engaging podcasts and go to earsuppodcast.com as JP, Terrence, Bevo, and Taryn talk about all things Disney. Get on Twitter for some good beer insight and homebrew info, and follow Nate Smith at Nathan Homebrew if he's still alive, Mike McDowell at Tasty McD, Warren being stuck over at Another Beardy, and the great Beverly crushing cyberspace at Bevo1. JP thinks Twitter's dead, and you should follow him on Instagram at Major Jip. Today's show was produced by our very own Bevo, and your host has been Justin Crossley. Be sure to find the Brewing Network on Facebook, Twitter, and the aforementioned Instagram.
Justin's a nice guy and winning the race. JP does great as his charity.